It is 6 o'clock. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The NFL roster cut deadline has come and gone. Teams around the league, including the Titans, are down to their initial 53-man rosters, and some of the cut victims for the Titans yesterday included wide receiver Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver James Prochet, tight end Josh Wiley, and quarterback Trevor Siemian, which leaves the Titans with two quarterbacks on the roster. Also, the Titans announced yesterday that running back Tajay Spears will start the season on short-term injured reserve as a result of a high ankle sprain that he suffered in the Titans preseason game against Tampa Bay earlier this month. Spears will now miss the first 4 games of the season. In other Titans news, the Titans have already begun making moves past their initial 53 as they are intending to sign former Carolina Panthers defensive tackle Shy Tuttle, who was released yesterday, to a 1-year deal. Tuttle in 15 games last season with the Panthers had 46 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 4 quarterback pressures. In NFL news just minutes ago, per NFL insider Tom Pelissero, the Detroit Lions are trading wide receiver Tim Patrick to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Details of that trade have yet to be released. And in Tennessee Vols news yesterday, head football coach Josh Heupel signed a contract extension that will keep him in Knoxville through the 2030 season. The school announced yesterday. The news comes days before Tennessee opens up its season against Syracuse this Saturday in Atlanta. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Wednesday morning, halftime of the week, 3 days until Tennessee football. We got a 53-man roster for the Tennessee Titans to talk about with you. 615-737-1045 is our number. We have a 53-man roster. Notice I did not say we have the 53-man roster. We expect some moves. There's already one that the Titans have reportedly added. We'll talk about that. Rhett Bryan's going to be here to parse through it all, take a look at where they could still make some more roster moves and react as new moves happen at 7 a.m. this morning. Mike Golick Jr. joins the show at 8:20. We've got one big question for the 2025 Tennessee Vols season. We're going to ask at 9:20 this morning, and we take your phone calls throughout the day at 615-737-1045. Crew's all here. Vol Network analyst and 11-year NFL veteran Ramon Foster, Justin Hawkins at the controls. I'm Will Bowling. On this Wednesday, August the 27th, Ramon Foster, there are 11 offensive linemen on the Titans' 53-man roster. Good morning.
It warms my heart. It warms my heart, okay? And also because our guy will not be working the next few days, and he's in the chat, but also at the airport, and he got an upgraded seat selection on his plane, a.k.a. Ron Slay. It is Hump Day.
There you go.
I had to take it from him. Will, ain't like he can call in and just defend himself right now. Absolutely not, man. But 11 offensive linemen, Will, warms my heart. I did not see one of those guys making the roster, though, man. But I guess we'll talk about it and after the break. We'll see.
We absolutely will. We will talk about it throughout the morning. A 53-man roster that was set, a move that was made according to reports that Shy Tuttle, former Tennessee Volunteer, will join the defensive line. I will talk about that this morning as well. Shall we just dive into what the roster is, in case people were under a rock yesterday afternoon?
Yes, absolutely. Let's go through it, man.
Let's do it. Quarterbacks, Cam Ward and Brandon Allen. Congrats to Cam Ward on making the Titans' 53-man roster.
I wonder how did he sweat it out, you think?
Maybe just a little bit.
Okay.
Maybe just a little bit. No, not at all, obviously. Tony Pollard, Julius Chestnut, Khalil Mullings are your 3 running backs. 6 receivers: Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett, Bryce Oliver, Alec Manor, and Chimere DK. No James Prochet, who we considered a roster lock.
I thought was
on Monday
a shoo-in, Will. Like, I thought his jersey was pressed up already.
We'll talk about it. Tight ends, Chikakonkwo, Gunnar Helm, and David Martin Robinson. No surprises there.
We're good there.
Offensive line. Lloyd Cushenberry, Peter Skoronski, Dan Moore, Kevin Zeitler, J.C. Latham. With backups, Corey Levin, check. Blake Hance, check. Jackson Slater, check. Brandon Crenshaw Dixon. The one undrafted free agent to make the roster, John Ojukwu and Oli Udoh. Ramon's got a special place in his heart for undrafted offensive linemen making the initial 53-man roster.
Especially the big boys, man.
That's right.
Go ahead, man. We'll talk about him later, man. And I can be unbiased. He's a Gator.
That's true.
So y'all stop that narrative, man. Go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
They can't develop quarterbacks, though, according to you. But that's more of a that's a conversation that happened last week. That we're poking fun. Linebackers. 4 inside linebackers: Cody Barton, Cedric Gray, James Williams, Curtis Jacobs, Arden Key, Draymond Jones, Jalen Harrell, Femi Oladejo, Jihad Ward. Defensive line: Jeffrey Simmons, Tavondre Sweat, Sebastian Joseph Day, James Lynch. Timmy Horn gets the last spot for now. Shai Tuttle is reportedly being signed by the Tennessee Titans, according to NFL insider Adam Schefter. One of 18 players who were let go by the Panthers on Tuesday. He has played in 63 games, 33 starts for Carolina's NFC rivals, New Orleans. He signed a 3-year, $19.5 million deal ahead of the 2023 season. He went on to start each of his 32 games for the Carolina Panthers. Availability, experience, Ramon, what was your initial reaction seeing Shai Tuttle signed yesterday?
Experience, man. Playmaker, always answer whenever his number is called, too. He's athletic, shifty. I think he's a great placeholder here in Tennessee for the year that he's the agreement that they have so far. If he signs, this will be before this opening day, too, if I'm not mistaken, too. So it's not like a post-week 1 signing for him. Yes, this is a claim. Yeah.
According to the report, they intend to sign him now.
Yeah.
So he's D-lineman 5.
Yeah.
That's essentially where you are at this point. You had Keandre Coburn, now you have Shai Tuttle.
Mm-hmm.
You tried out through training camp Isaiah Rakes, Phillip Bleedy, Cam Horsley, Devontae O'Malley, and decided you'd rather have a veteran in that spot versus one of the younger, unproven guys who I think also can still make it on the practice squad as well.
Yes.
I would imagine that Isaiah Rakes is still a practice squad guy. I think the same can be said for Cam Horsley, maybe even more confidently, because Horsley is a very good specialist run stopper. We knew that coming out of the draft. Rhett Bryant is going to join us in an hour, has talked about that through the draft process. So I think that's a name to remember, but someone who will start on the practice squad, you imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Corners: L'Jarius Sneed, Darrell Baker, Jarvis Brownlee, Roger McCreary, Gabe Judy Lally, Marcus Harris. Safeties: Amani Hooker, Xavier Woods, Quandre Diggs, Mike Brown, Kevin Winston Jr. Mike Brown is a personal punt protector and core special teamer.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of value to this team.
A lot of value.
And as much as they're going to play 3 safeties on the field at the same time, 5 of them make sense. Joey Slye, Johnny Hecker, and Morgan Cox. There you go.
16 years for Morgan, man.
Initial 53-man roster. The all-decade team long snapper, Morgan Cox.
You look at the depth chart also, they've just removed names and placeholders. Like I'm looking at PR and KOR return guys. That's where James Prochet was. And I'm looking at the second team. It's Chimere Dike, who will slide over into those positions if I'm not mistaken. That's a heavy task for a rookie. But it always comes down to reps, man. And to be quite honest with you, I think it's a cheaper option also. When you look at Chimere, you get him more experience on the field. Even if it ain't at his position.
Maybe.
You give him experience. You give me a maybe right there.
I'm giving you a maybe. I believe, based on what Bones Fossil said last week, when he said that Chimere Dike wasn't quite ready to be the return man, I think they were confident in pushing James Prochet to the practice squad and him clearing waivers, that they will stash him there and use their 3 standard elevations from the practice squad for him to be the returner for the beginning of the season.
You still think he's going to...
I'm going to believe it when I see it, that Chimere Dike has already won the returner job. I think he could by the time week 4 rolls around, but NFL rules allow a team to activate up to 2 practice squad players for a single game without them having to be signed to the 53-man roster. Each player can be elevated a maximum of 3 times per season before they must be added to the active roster. My guess is that when they go to Denver, James Prochet is still the return man.
You think he's still the return man?
I think so.
I wouldn't expect that.
Chimere Dike just hasn't looked as comfortable avoiding disaster as Prochet has so far. I believe in the long-term ability of Chimere Dike to be the return man. I'm hesitant to go ahead and give him that role now based on what we've seen.
So this rule allows for him to be on the practice squad and play
That's
active.
correct. For up to 3 times before he has to be added to the active roster.
I want to see that maneuver. I don't know if I've seen that one. I know it's a real thing, but I hadn't seen that move be implicated during the season. Mm-hmm. For a return specialist, though, me personally, I'm going to go ahead and give it to Chimere Dike.
Okay.
That's just my personal preference.
I mean, and I'm fine with that being the move. I think either way.
I mean, you put your job on the line there.
I'm more so. I am?
No, I'm talking about. Listen, you ain't got to run out there, okay? You ain't got to field the football. If it was you, I'd say Peter and move, okay?
No, I thought you were saying I'm putting my job in the line, making this assumption.
Oh, we ain't that serious out here.
I was about to say. No, I do think that it's one of those things. Like, to me, I'm fine either way. I'm more projecting what I think they're going to do.
For sure. Yeah. I choose to keep it just a little bit more simple and say, look, this is where you grow up. Now, here's the other issue to your point about it being his first time and him being unstable. Whoever the punter is for Denver, I guarantee you, if it is a rookie back there, they're going to shoot that ball up so high in the sky because of the altitude to make him nervous. I do want to see how that goes, but here's the other part of it. Stars are born every year, almost sometimes any game. If he shows that he can handle it in Denver, especially at that altitude, the way that ball is going to float and tumble in the air, you gain something with a young guy like Chimere Dike.
Live for the 104.5 The Zone Circus Sports Studio, Kentucky's largest sports book can now be found at Circus Sports at Kentucky Downs. In the studio, we stream the show live for you, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Hit the 104.5 The Zone YouTube channel. That is youtube.com/1045 The Zone TV. You can stream us there and get your comments in there with a big community of over 100 of you who have already congregated in the F&M Bank chat. Your thoughts as well on the phone, 615-737-1045. Why did the Titans keep 11 offensive linemen? We'll tell you coming up next. Ramona Will on 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee. Locally owned near you in Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Scooter's Coffee, amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Stream it live on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. Where should we begin? Ramon Foster, what was your biggest surprise and the number one observation that you had in the Tennessee Titans' initial 53-man roster, which came out yesterday?
Two big surprises, man. Honestly, it could be 2.5. I'll save the half for last. So, but on a good note, it was Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon making the 53-man roster. I have my reasons for that one. I'll just give you that one was my good surprise. My bad surprise was James Prochet. I didn't see that one happening at all. A guy that had the lion's share of the reps when it came down to him being a special teams guy. I know there was one person in Nashville that did not like him, and that name is Robert Walsh, okay? He stood by that, and I know I didn't hear their show yesterday because I had some stuff to do. But what I do know is I thought he had the job, like, set in stone. I don't know. It's been a couple times I've seen guys be in positions to where, yeah, you're the guy, and then they've gotten cut. Two situations I've seen that happen, but I didn't expect that one to happen for this team, for the need they have with the experience, to your point, for a kick return to punt returner.
That was the big surprise for me as well. Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon making the team instead of James Prochet. I think Prochet, in his NFL career, the lack of production as a wide receiver makes it more challenging for him to be on the active 46 on game day. I still believe there is a good possibility, and the most likely possibility, that he is a standard elevation from the practice squad to be the kick returner for the first 3 weeks of the season, or up to 3 weeks of the season. However, I mean, still, you're in that position to where if he had a punt return or kick return for a touchdown, he could get claimed off the practice squad.
Right.
So, still, I mean, even if that was the case and he played super well, I mean, I guess that's a problem you'd want to have if you have a special teams touchdown. Maybe you would just sign him to the active roster at that point. But James Prochet in his career has 299 receiving yards in 5 seasons, 591 return yards, 8.7 yards per return, 68 career punt returns in his career. He's played 62 games in 5 seasons. I was surprised as well, but I think this is more about who is the easiest for us to stash to the practice squad because of their overall production. And clearly, Ramon, there is a trend in the NFL where because of what teams are giving up for backup linemen, I think the Titans are shopping around some of these tackles. And maybe not actively saying, hey, you want John Njoku? Hey, you want Oli Udoh? You want Jalen Duncan? I think they're leaving their options open to say, all right, we like these tackles. We feel like we value the depth we have on the offensive line. If somebody wants to come make us an offer with a day 3 pick in the 2026 draft, let's keep these guys for now and give those teams that are a little bit more desperate a bit more time to backfill their rosters in case they lose some guys that they thought they could push through to the practice squad that get claimed elsewhere.
No doubt about it. And since you bring up Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon too, that's I'm happy as heck for that situation right there, because a lot of things go into it for me. One, I look at the fact that the Titans not wasting any money. Okay, I think it was $255,000 for an undrafted free agent. You're not wasting money. You poured into your investment, and now you're about to pour into his ability to develop. I absolutely love that. I think every team should have one or two of those guys at any position. Well, it could be corner, it can be defensive line, it could be anywhere that you say a non-quarterback is going to have the opportunity to develop. They clearly saw something, whether that be his size, his ability to go from San Diego State to Florida, start and play there the way he did, and then you can't buy that size. The other part, too, when you look at the separator of what you're asking him to do versus what Jalen Duncan was doing, you got a willing participant that has already inherited the Bill Callahan's method of working. I think we look at some of the stuff last year and the last couple of years that you got from Jalen Duncan is, I've heard coaches say, I'll deal with you until I can find your replacement. Well, that replacement seems to be Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. With that, I see a dude, man, that has the want to. He's young enough and is very moldable. If we believe that Bill Callahan is a developer the way everybody says he is, this is a prospect that's going to either turn into a strong rotational guy or a spot starter at times. And it also helps your roster. You got to look at the economics of it, too. You got a high-paid left tackle. You got a guard coming up that's to be paid soon. And you got JC also in the fold, along with Cush. You got to find the economic balance of finding your undrafted dudes. That's why I love this for a lot of other reasons, too.
Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon is, funny enough, 7 months younger than Jalen Duncan. Jalen Duncan, a third-year NFL player who was drafted by the Titans in the 6th round of the 2023 NFL Draft. And Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, a veteran undrafted free agent, is the best way you could say it in terms of how often he played in college, 4 years at San Diego State and another at Florida to finish his career. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think you are getting a guy who doesn't have habits of the old regime and can be coached really from the ground up with a solid Bill Callahan taught foundation.
Yeah, man.
You also, in keeping Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon instead of Jalen Duncan, get 2 additional years of contractual control over him. So you have, with undrafteds, those guys get 3-year deals, plus their 4th year is as a restricted free agent. Exclusive rights. So essentially it is still a 4-year deal. But the opportunity to come back to the table and based on your market value, based on how much you've played, Ramon, you get incentives that can boost you up a little bit. That way you differentiate, hey, this guy's a UDFA who just stuck. This guy's a UDFA who started and played. You earn a little bit of a pay raise there in year 4.
And correction, you're right. It will be restricted. If he goes to practice squad for the year and then make the roster the next few years, then it will be exclusive rights.
Okay.
He's restricted.
In the same way
in 4th
that,
year.
Similar to what Ryan Stonehouse, his contract situation was here before the Titans moved on from him.
Absolutely.
And why he was a free agent earlier than everyone else who was added, the offseason that he was added. Hat tip to Easton Freeze of A to Z Sports, who wrote about this at AtoZSports.com, saying, the truth of the matter is the NFL is desperate for players merely shaped like offensive tackles, let alone decent tackle play, let alone real upside of any kind. The bar is low. The have-nots of the league are so desperate. There have been trades like this, 3 trades this week. The Saints sent Asim Richards and a 2028 7th for a 2028 6th from Dallas. Mm-hmm. The Browns traded tackle KT Leviston and gave up a 2028 7th. All right, got a 2028 7th. And the Jags sent tackle Fred Johnson back to Philadelphia and got a 2026 7th. By keeping 11 offensive linemen, you give teams a little bit more time to make those offers to you to say, hey, we thought we were going to be able to push X, Y, or Z player on waivers. Yeah. He got claimed. What do you want for John Ojukwu? Mm-hmm. What do you want for Oli Udoh?
Yeah.
So it does feel like the Titans clearly, Ramon, feel enough positivity about Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon where and now I actually feel pretty good about him sticking on this initial 53-man roster.
Fred Johnson was in Pittsburgh with me my last year, another undrafted Florida tackle too. He's bounced around the league because to your point, from what Easton was saying, like the NFL is lacking big men. The NFL is lacking big athletic guys, Will, that you can develop or have some sense of athleticism. That is a real thing, and I don't think people understand it. Like if you got a big kid in your house, if that kid is in the band and not playing football, y'all got a problem. Okay, we're talking about bills getting paid if this kid develops into something, man, because it's hard finding athletic guys like this that are smart enough, that are able to service you whenever you need them to. And that's why I say I look at Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon and say he can turn into something. I'm not sure he'll end up being the starting left tackle for this team after Dan Moore is done. But what you do need at all times in this league is depth at those big positions, which is why also one of the Titans' first claims on the other side of the ball is a D tackle. Like it's finding bigs that are serviceable is hard in the NFL. And there's also levels to it, too. Just because you are a big old guy don't mean that you can play. They're looking for specific types.
615-737-1045 is our number. You can give us your initial thoughts on the Titans' 53-man roster, the initial 53-man roster since the ink had not even been dry coming off the printer. And the Titans made a move and brought in Shai Tuttle, we believe, for Timmy Horn. That makes the most sense for the roster. At wide receiver, there are 6 players with the absence of James Prochet. Calvin Ridley, Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett, Bryce Oliver, Elikiah Manor, and Chimere Dike. The team reportedly wants to keep Xavier Restrepo on the practice squad. How comfortable are you, Ramon, with those 6 being your receiver room? Do you feel the need for the Titans to go shop and look at a guy like Malachi Corley, who got released by the Jets, or Jacoby Myers, who wants out of Vegas?
I'm only shopping for practice squad at this point. I do think they need bodies ready and available. I'm not sure if that's Xavier Restrepo to be called up at any point during the season, or if they do go get somebody else, Will. But I need probably 2, if not 3 bodies on practice squad. I think the number 16 right now, I think it'd be smart because this 6 that you have has some age on it. The 6 that you have also has some inexperience with it. Also, if we look at Bryce Oliver, Elikiah Manor, and Chimere Dike, I mean, it could be problematic for how defensives can scheme them up to set them up to where they don't know where to go in their zones. So there's a lot of youth in that. The 3 that you have, Calvin, Van, and Tyler, I live that life. But again, it's inexperience after that, Will. So, yeah, give me a couple of guys that I know I can bring up off the practice squad at wide receiver. I'm taking 2, if not 3.
I do think that still you have to embrace the fact that this organization has a type, and a guy like Jacoby Myers, who has just requested a trade, probably isn't the type of player this organization is going to bring in right now. Just the reality of where they are. They want veterans who want to be here and guys who are willing to stick it out through a rebuild and through some years where you understand you're short at certain parts of the roster, and if things go towards the negative side, it might be a tough year. If everything's come together, maybe Cam Ward, steps on the field right away and cooks a little bit. Maybe this can be a really fun season right away. But again, this organization is valuing veterans who want to be here, who want to be a member of the team, not the guy, not the story, not the show. And at this point, I think you got to learn what you have in your young wide receivers before you stunt their growth by bringing in somebody else who's not a total game changer either way. This team, when they add more wide receiver help for years to come, they're looking for game changers. They're looking for top-end speed. They're looking for guys who are going to be around with Cam Ward for a long time. If guys don't check those boxes, there's no reason to muddy the waters on making it more difficult for Chimere Dike and Elikiah Manor to develop, just to get somebody who might be a better option for the very, very short-term future. And
on top of that, what draft pick are you giving up to go get a guy like that? This is a trade situation.
Right. This team's not in the position to do that. I agree.
There'll be more talent that comes out that you can help learn your offense on the practice squad, as opposed to trading for Jacoby Meyer or somebody like that. Nah,
sure.
They're not living like that yet.
Shai Tuttle, the new defensive tackle from Tennessee, had a 42.7 PFF grade last year, career lows across the board from Pro Football Focus. Not the gospel, again, not the primary source, but a secondary source to tell you at least why he became available. He went on to start each of his 32 games for the Carolina Panthers since signing a 3-year deal there in 2023. He had 89 tackles, 1 for loss, half a sack, 1 forced fumble, and 2 fumble recoveries. On defense now, Ramon, where do you think this team is looking to add additional pieces? Adam Schefter said yesterday that the expectation is around the league that the Titans are going to make multiple moves today. Where do you see them prioritizing that first move? Where are you looking on this team?
Edge, I think still. If there's somebody also at corner that can become available, although it's not top of my list, I see them potentially making a run there. And one more, and we brought it up, I pushed back hard on you yesterday with it, but seeing Tajay go to IR, I do think they will take a peek at a running back or 2. Those are my hot spots right there. Edge, corner, and running back, I think they make a push at. I think tight ends, with what those guys' traits are, is set. To be honest,
it's just with the amount of 11 personnel they're going to play. They don't need as much tight end depth.
That's where I see it at, man. Timmy Horn, I'm not sure if he's going to be cut, or to be honest with you, Will, is this Oliuta getting cut? 10 is what you need. You need 5 of your starters, and you need You need 5 or 6 for your practice squad too. I'm side eyeing him still, Udo, just because a little bit more expensive, but not really. But that's where I'm looking at.
So the Titans do have to miss Tajay Spears for the first 4 games of the season, as he was put on IR to begin the year, meaning that's the minimum of what he has to miss. He does not count against the team's initial 53-man roster. There are some young running back options out there. I mean, look, there are always going to be running back options.
It is.
The Titans got Dontrell Hilliard and Deontay Foreman in 2021 and secured the number 1 seed in the AFC. Right. Now, that was with a really good offensive line, a pretty dang good passing game with Ryan Tannehill and A.J. Brown at that time, and different context around it. But what?
I got a guy.
What you got?
Hunter Renfrow.
I don't know if Hunter Renfrow adds anything different this team doesn't already have. I think the Titans have Hunter Renfrow at home, and it's Xavier Restrepo.
You think so?
Yeah.
I'll give him 2 steps above Restrepo.
I don't know. Hunter Renfrow's been out of the league for over a year.
I can see it. Practice squad him. If he don't get picked up on active.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's a reason why, though, he wasn't around last year. Like, he's trying to revive his career. And
I was a little shocked by that one. I saw him cook a little bit in Carolina.
Yeah. He had an odd career, didn't he?
Yeah, he has. He absolutely has.
5th round pick in 2019 by the then Oakland Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
His last football was 2023 at 25 catches for 255 yards. This was 2 years removed from a Pro Bowl season in 2021 when he had over 1,000 yards.
I didn't realize he dropped that far.
Yeah, he didn't play. Map. He didn't play football at all last year.
All right. Yeah, just a thought. He was a name on songs. Just like, could be interesting.
He also looks slower because of his haircut.
He needs to just chop that up.
You just got to let it go,
baldy,
guy.
Yeah, baldy guy.
You used to be in the Raiders organization. Let's follow the Brock Bowers method and just let it go.
Let it go, like Elsa said.
Like Elsa said.
Yeah, all right. We'll leave that one alone there.
It's hard to be a quick slot receiver who's balding, respectfully. And look, I mean, everyone loses their hair as they get older. Like, I'm not judging. But not all of us are NFL slot receivers. So what do we?
It'll help him get a 10th off his 40 time is what you tell me?
At least. He's going from a 4.6 to at least a 4.55 by just letting it go. Plus, you're better aerodynamically at that point.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no hair to hold you back.
And the hair stops the heat in your body from being trapped. It easily leaves them at that point. It's cooling off, man. Quicker. We really just shamed that man.
We're bald shaving before 7 a.m. That's crazy.
I'm here for it, though, man. Screw it. Let's roll.
He can take a lesson from Brock Bowers.
That's what I just said.
Were you not listening?
That's what I literally just said.
I was listening.
Are we interrupting your work over there?
Yes.
Way to go, Jay.
I was looking up Hunter Renfrow's speed, which is 4.59. So it's a little bit better than Xavier.
It had not been 30 seconds since I said that.
You know who else he can take after Will? Brock Bowers.
Yeah, but honestly, you know who's done that really well? Brock Bowers looks good now.
Have you mentioned Brock Bowers today? Because going into year 2 with that bald haircut, I think he's going to improve.
Oh, my God.
Just like what Buck does to Burt, I'm going to go in the shadows.
He should do like the one Georgia player that doesn't have speeding. Okay, all right.
There we go.
No, I do think that running back. I still think inside linebacker. I'm actually let's do this, Ramon. Coming up next, I have got the number 1 player on my wish list. I want the Tennessee Titans to add to the 53-man roster. We'll do that coming up next. 615-737-1045. Ramon and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. 1045 The Zone. Ramona Will on 104.5 The Zone is brewed by Scooter's Coffee. We got the Caramelicious blend going this morning. It is outstanding. I put a little extra scoop in there this morning, Ramona. We got a little bit of extra Caramelicious.
And I'm thankful for you, okay? Because I got me a cup right now.
There you go.
I'll be honest with you. I add just a little bit of something to it, just for health. You know what I'm saying? Trying to keep my bones and skin together. You know what I'm saying? A little collagen in it in the morning, man. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Trying to do the small stuff.
Okay, get on with your bad self.
On my joints and stuff, you know?
So there is a player I think the Titans should be interested in today on defense, Ramon Foster, who was a draft selection this year, who we talked about in the pre-draft process, who very surprisingly became available yesterday. Number one player on my wish list is former Ole Miss linebacker Chris Paul Jr. Goes by the name Pooh.
I do remember talking about him.
They kept Troy Reeder, the LA Rams, instead of him, in addition to another undrafted linebacker who won a spot on the team. And he is a fifth-round pick this year.
What?
Not only was he a fifth-round pick this year, he went 172 to the Rams, and that was after L.A. traded 2 picks to move up to take him. And they let him go. So Chris Paul Jr. dealt with a calf injury at the start of training camp, which Sean McVay said wasn't healing as quickly as the team had hoped. He eventually did get back at the field. He played in all preseason games. This is not, unless they've got some info that we don't, Ramon, not a situation where there's still an injury holding him back. He was the number 7 linebacker in the draft, according to Dane Brugler of The Athletic and The Beast. This was the scouting report on Chris Paul Jr. coming out of the NFL draft out of Ole Miss. Overall, Chris Paul Jr. won't be a fit for NFL teams that have strict size thresholds at the position. But this sounds like Denard Wilson right here. His all-out play style will find a way to be productive at the next level. He should shine on special teams. A highly active, run-around linebacker. Chris Paul Jr. is an easy linebacker to appreciate, Dane Brugler writes, because of his play speed, execution, and competitive toughness. He always had the dirtiest jersey on each tape studied. 6 feet, 222, 29 7/8 arms, so shorter arms, smaller guy, 4'6" in the 40. Strengths of his, according to Dane Brugler, green dot defender, so defensive play caller for the Ole Miss Rebels, twitched up athlete who plays fast and physical, has range to make plays outside the numbers and logs more steps than everyone else on the field. Weaknesses: lacks ideal length, mass, and growth potential, not built to play in a phone booth. Shorter arms limit his take-on ability and leaves him engulfed by offensive linemen and some tight ends. Doesn't always see blocks in peripherals. What do you think?
Just got to get his instincts up.
Did I tell you?
Telling me. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm looking at his tape right now. He's a missile to the ball. You're right. He does get engulfed from time to time. I'm seeing that right now. But his issue is he doesn't use his hands and arms the way I'm seeing him. He goes in dodging with his shoulders and not extending with his hands on some of the plays that I'm saying right now. And this is his 2025 preseason tape that I'm looking at right now. His seek and diagnosis there is what I'm telling you. A fifth-round pick is not a throwaway pick.
No. Think about who the Titans got in the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
The 3 guys, I know we're talking 1 round later, but Titans got Elikai Amander, Chimere Dike, and Gunnar Helm in the 4th. And those guys are all expected to be significant contributors this season. That's a position where you can find starters in the 5th round.
Yeah. I gotta call Sean McVay and figure out, okay, give me the lowdown. Like, there's somebody there that has an understanding of what happened with him or why they chose to. His ability to get to the quarterback is there too. Here he is right now, sacking the quarterback. He sacks Shador. In this game they played. Yeah, absolutely. I ain't say that just because it's Shador, but this guy is having a sack in the game right here.
So Sean McVay talked about this. I'm reading from Rams Wire here on why he was let go. Sean McVay said, "What are we tasked to do?" Gosh, so many ads on here for the USA Today Network. What we are tasked to do is be able to evaluate what we think when we went with 4 inside linebackers. What do we think are the 4 best inside linebackers? All right, thanks, Sean. That's groundbreaking stuff. And that's not exclusive to playing inside linebacker. Part of that is playing special teams. Says Sean Dolak is a guy, one of the guys they decided to keep instead, that's going to be able to play on all 4 phases. Troy Reeder is going to play in all four phases. And so when you look at Landman and Omar Spates as your starting inside linebackers, when you're in your two-backer defenses, those third and fourth spots are heavily dictated and determined by where do you create value. Not exclusive to the inside linebacker position. He says, it's not anything to take away from Paul, Chris Paul Jr., it's his nickname, because I got respect, love for him, and wish him nothing but the best. But those two guys made themselves really important, and that's why they'll have a jersey on game day.
I get that.
So it came down to special teams.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. And for a guy like him that seems to have always been a starter, just looking at his career, especially he probably never really had to do special teams. You got to submit yourself to NFL teams.
So the question the Titans will have to ask is, who adds more value to you in special teams or as a linebacker for Curtis Jacobs or Chris Paul Jr.? Curtis Jacobs was a UDFA at a Penn State last year, so just in year two. Played 9 games for the New England Patriots a season ago. Second-year player, 23 years old, was a UDFA originally in Kansas City. So Mike Bergonzi had already brought in Curtis Jacobs as a UDFA, or helped bring in Curtis Jacobs as a UDFA last offseason. Mm-hmm. He goes to New England after being released by Kansas City and then ends up in Tennessee this past offseason.
I mean, but I'm looking at Paul. He's clearly evaluated correctly. This seems to be just a cultural fit, like you said, Will, in special teams. You mentioned a decision having to be made with him and Curtis Jacobs. I mean, he's about a year two guy versus a rookie at this point. It's a matter of what you can get out of Curtis Jacobs, I think, first with the experience that you need at that spot. But if you can sign, and I say this, if you can sign Paul for a little bit more to keep him on the practice squad, I take that. You don't give him full roster money or full commitment, but you get him over on this side of the Mississippi, you might get something out of him eventually. And again, humbling guys will do a whole lot more for him. Like if you don't want to commit to special teams, we'll get cut. We'll see what happens the next time you get your opportunity in, too. There is that side of it also, Will. I ain't saying he's no entitled type of player. I wouldn't want to put that designation on him by saying I'm too good to do special teams. But clearly there was an ask and he didn't meet it. So because of that, well, go to the practice squad at this point.
And it should be an easy player for them to evaluate because they just went through the draft process with him.
Just looked at this.
This is not like a player that Mike Bergonzi and this staff wouldn't have already worked together on. Like you have all the vetting you need. If you like him, go get him. You're essentially stealing a 5th-round pick if you take Chris Paul Jr. on waivers.
He doesn't use his hands great. And you said that too. Shorter arms, right? Mm-hmm. Like his ability to get off guys. He's a shoulder type guy. Every time I've seen him take on an offensive lineman, he's dipping with his shoulders into guys, which is his defense mechanism.
Started his career at Arkansas, finished as an All-American at Ole Miss last season. We'll see. That's the top of my wish list, personally.
See why.
There are some other corners that I think are possibilities. I think still you're going to look at running back. I'd say it's those 3 positions, Ramon, that we got to watch for today. And luckily for us, some of this may break while we're on air. So stick around with us, because we may have some updates for you throughout the morning on who the Titans are adding as they go through the waiver process. But I think it's linebacker 4, I think it's cornerback 6, and I think it's running back 2 in the interim. Those 3 are the most likely. I just don't know if this team's going to find edge rusher value beyond what they already have.
I'm with you. That's
kind of like tackle. Odds are if guys like that become available who are young, moldable players, there's a reason. Now, if they go add Preston Smith or Zadarius Smith, we're having a different conversation. But Preston, I think, is more realistic. Yes, the team needs an edge rusher. That's just not a position where a lot of great ones become available this time of year. And there's reasons why for that.
And those dudes that usually get cut stick with the place that they're at, especially if it's practice squad offerings the same.
It is the 3rd most important position in football. Teams aren't letting go of good ones.
I'm still looking at this tape. I'm surprised Chris Paul Jr. got cut.
I am too. I really am too. 615-737-1045 is our number. Rep Bryant of Titans Radio joins us a little early this morning in studio next.
It's Ramon Foster for Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical. Man, nobody wants to deal with a plumbing, HVAC, or an electrical emergency. Most of the time, you don't know what it's going to cost you or if it'll get fixed correctly or if somebody's trying to sell you something you don't need. But when you call Hiller, their experts are going to solve your problems quickly. It's because they got some of the best techs around, man. They're very professional, experienced, and trustworthy. And they're all background checked and drug screened, too. Hiller has been in business for over 35 years and a family owned and operated. The motto sticks, and it's true. I've dealt with them before, and hey, it's happy you'll be or the service is free. Hands down, no questions asked, man. To learn more about Hiller or to book with them, simply visit happyhiller.com.
It is 7 o'clock. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The NFL roster cut deadline day has come and gone, and teams around the league, including the Titans, are down to their initial 53-man rosters. Some of the cut victims for the Titans yesterday included wide receiver Xavier Restrepo, wide receiver James Prochet, tight end Josh Wylett, and quarterback Trevor Siemian, which leaves the Titans with 2 quarterbacks on their 53-man roster. Also, the Titans announced yesterday that running back Tajay Spears will start the season on short-term injured reserve as a result of a high ankle sprain that he suffered in the Titans preseason game against Tampa Bay earlier this month. Spears will now miss the first 4 games of the season. In another Titans news, Titans have already begun making some moves past their initial 53-man rosters. The Titans are intending to sign former Carolina Panthers defensive tackle Shai Tuttle to a 1-year deal. Tuttle was released yesterday. Tuttle, in 15 games last season with the Panthers, had 46 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 forced fumble, and 4 quarterback pressures. In NFL news this morning, the Detroit Lions are trading wide receiver Tim Patrick to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for a 2026 6th-round pick. And in Tennessee Vols news, yesterday, head football coach Josh Heupel signed a contract extension that will keep him in Knoxville through the 2030 season. The school announced yesterday. The news comes just days before Tennessee opens up its season this Saturday against Syracuse in Atlanta. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Away we go into hour number 2. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee, reacting to an initial 53-man roster. Coming up in hour 3, Mike Golick Jr. will stop by. Talk about some Tennessee Vols football. One big question for the Vols season coming up in hour 4 this morning, but we've got a ton of initial 53-man roster takes. We've got options the Titans could add. We're probably going to have some news throughout the morning on guys the Titans do add with the number 1 spot in the waiver claim order. Ramon Foster is here. Justin Hawkins is at the controls. And Rhett Bryan is here a little bit early this morning in studio talking Titans with us, talking about what he's hearing. Good morning.
Good morning, and thanks for allowing me to come on a little earlier than usual on Wednesdays. It is almost, school's back in session, and it's almost time for T-Rac's school show, so we're doing a little rehearsal today and brush up on everything. But anyway, should be fun. But glad to be here in hour 2 of the program and just kind of looking over what is the initial 53-man roster. I know that's been y'all's conversation so far. I'm going to pivot right here. Instead of being the guest, I'm going to play host for a second. What was the biggest surprise for y'all?
Ramon?
Biggest surprise for me was, I go positive, Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon. I didn't see him making the initial 53-man roster, but I'm excited to see it, and I understand it. I told it to Will earlier, like his situation is the economics and balance of a team is what you need. He's a cheaper option as an undrafted free agent. He's a guy that you always want to have a factory, an assembly line. I shouldn't say factory, an assembly line of young, developing offensive linemen to where you can get serviceable play out of them. I'm not sure if he's a future starter on this team, but you are now setting yourself up for a developmental team. That's the reason I like this move. I didn't have him as a 53-man roster because teams that throw $250,000 out, Rhett, and give you a lunch and a milk jug to go home, okay? Like, you can get cut for way more in this league, and I was glad to see that.
46 career starts between San Diego State and Florida for Brandon Crenshaw-Dixon, who's only 7 months younger than Jalen Duncan, but has 3 additional years of contractual control versus Duncan, who is entering year 3 of a 4-year rookie contract. For me, it's the same thing. It was Crenshaw-Dixon making it instead of James Prochet. And the fact that this team has 11 offensive linemen on the roster, Rhett, to fill their initial 53-man roster. And it does feel like we as NFL people are learning more again. Like, this is an initial 53. This is a living document that is not set in Sharpie before week 1. And even for teams that don't have the number 1 spot in the waiver order, there are changes and cuts and additions that are going to be made all across rosters around the league.
Yeah, and in particular with the offensive line, like John Ojukwu, I thought was there. I thought, and certainly Oli Udoh as the swing tackles and the third and fourth tackle in this. But I was a little surprised that Brandon Crenshaw Dixon. But here's the thing. He's a smart cat. Mm-hmm. He really is. And for him, as the kids say, to level up like he did leaving San Diego State and then go play right tackle in the Southeastern Conference and not allow a quarterback sack in a year where they had quarterback issues with injury and those kinds of things. And so, I mean, he blocked for Graham Mertz. He blocked for DJ Lagway. Mm-hmm. And now, I know that's a one-year sample size, but that's, moving to a bigger, smaller fish in a bigger pond and performing well. Now, I know even for the Southeastern Conference to the NFL, that's a massive leap, but clearly they see something there. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, probably Bill Callahan sees something there.
That's what I like about it more, Red.
So, that's a part of it. I didn't have any super big surprises out of this. And in looking at the final release numbers and list yesterday, I feel like a lot of those are going to be on the practice squad. I think the Cam Horsleys at D tackle. Who else am I missing? There was a couple other in there. It's like I think that's practice
Desmond
squad.
Evans.
That could be practice squad, absolutely. So
I view him a little bit like Crenshaw Dixon. Will brought him up like this was a high-rated player coming out of high school.
5-star out of high school.
Call me a sicko, but I got to pour into the former 5-star just for a little while.
6'6". You watch him.
I was going to say he is a massive human being.
You just look at him in pads and think, who's that guy?
Yeah. You speaking of cuts though, and guys like that, do you think Josh Weiler resorts to the practice squad too, or is he a pickup guy or want to get out of Nashville guy?
That's a good question, Ramon. That's one I hadn't really thought about in looking over this list. Thomas Odukoya, I think, might be the one that would come back just because of all they've invested in him.
And he doesn't count against your practice squad either. He's an international pathway player. So
that's the only reason I say that.
16 practice squad players, you get 17 if one of them is an international pathway player.
I could certainly see Kendall Brooks being on that. I could certainly see Andrew Rupsich, another lineman.
Totally.
That was a little bit of a shocker.
Really?
Just a little bit to me. And I know Blake Hance has been there. Strange is also here. Like, I both of those make sense to me. I thought he was steady. He was good when you needed him to be last year, too. But that's also, we know who you are. We'll come visit you later.
The tough thing about that, too, Rhett, the tough thing about that, too, is Rupsich was the guy who got more reps when Blake Hance missed some time early in camp due to injury.
Yeah.
And was serviceable, was fine. And it was part of the reason why Cam Ward had some clean pockets early on in those first two preseason games. And then Hance got healthy again and clearly has still the same value to the team moving forward because Blake Hance has played every position but center in the NFL in his career.
Yeah, and just looking over the rest of this list, like I could see Xavier Restrepo being on the practice squad. Mason Kinsey, same thing. Trying to look through who else. Oh, Isaiah Rakes is another one that I could see making that for sure. And obviously Trevor Siemian, just because, there's no limitations on experience, excuse me, being on the 16-man practice squad now. That's one of the big benefits of the COVID year. The multiple injured reserve with return designation, those things. But the practice squad's a huge one, especially when you're not, you can put vested veterans on there.
Yeah.
It's interesting, Rhett, when you look at James Prochet and what he could still bring to the Titans in the return game. We had this conversation in the first hour of the show, so for people who are just waking up, you could still elevate players on the practice squad up to 3 times as standard game day elevations for any given day. So really you have the 2 additional players you bring up plus the 7 on your 53 who are inactive. Could that still be a position where the Titans use James Prochet in Denver, in Nashville against the Rams, as the punt returner or kick returner to give Chimere Dike a little bit more time? If they're able to put James Prochet on the practice squad and say, hey, look, we feel confident we could stash you here. And if we feel like Chimere Dike isn't quite ready to be the full-time returner, we still have that option. Whereas if we let go one of these tackles, they're more likely to be snatched somewhere and we never get them back because they're going to be claimed based on the value of that position.
No, and you're describing what Brian Callahan and those guys call roster gymnastics every week, and that is certainly that's a prime example of what you're talking about because it's a numbers game and the numbers within the position groups. And I think you're right. I think, as much as they want to continue to cultivate depth on the offensive line, I think that trumps what you're talking about with, that would be where if Prochet was able to go on the practice squad, they'd much rather move those pieces around than chance losing somebody that they've had to make a move with in that offensive line part of it. No, absolutely. That's the game within the game. Now, here's the other part, and I know you guys have discussed this, and I know we'll get into it in the longer segment, but I'm just interested to see what they do with the waiver claim having the number one spot. Initially, we talked about there could be a whole lot of moving parts to that, but it depends on what the fits are and what the quality of prospect that's sitting there too. So it may not be. It could be one of those 3 to 4 moves is. If you look at the last handful of years of a team that has the first waiver claim position, 3 to 4 moves is about the average. 4, I think, being the most. But, I mean, they've already done that with Shai Tuttle, reportedly, right?
Yeah.
VOL, right?
That's right. I mean, hey.
Talking about another former 5-star.
He was a 5-star?
Yes. He was so good coming out of high school. Because they brought in him and Khalil McKenzie at the same time.
That's right.
Titans executive Reggie McKenzie's son.
Correct.
And I remember those days well just because they're my age.
Okay.
So that was my class when I started at UT.
I remember last shot was
but you're right. Those two came in together, highly recruited. But yeah, I'm interested to see more if they make more moves of that ilk, especially maybe in the running back core. Listen, I know they like Julius Chestnut and Kalel Mullings. They've made the initial 53. But with what they had to do with putting Tajay on IR, that opens an opportunity there because it would be, one of those guys would be out if Tajay was healthy.
Yeah.
Shall we go shopping, Rhett?
Let's go shopping.
Let's go shopping. Let's take a look at some players who were released and who could be fits for the Tennessee Titans. Because to the point about James Prochet and returner, Bones Fossil may be shopping on the Dallas Cowboys cuts as well for special teamers that he knew well from there a season ago. We'll talk about that. We'll dive into potential options and choices the Titans could make today with Rhett Bryan of Titans Radio in studio coming up next.
It's Ramon and Will here for Window Nation, man. Whether you have old, drafty windows or cheap builder-grade windows, sometimes they'll just put any window in there when they're building your house to save. I get it. But now is the best time to replace your windows, man. Protect your home ahead of the fall and winter weather. Get replacement windows from the best place, and that's Window Nation, where you can get top-quality, energy-efficient windows from a trusted company at a reasonable price. And here's the thing, Will. Window Nation knows replacing windows is an investment, and they want to make it affordable for you.
They do want to make it affordable, Ramon, with this incredible offer. This month, get 50% off all window styles. Yeah, put 0 down, make 0 payments, and pay 0 interest for 2 years. You can pay nothing until 2027. We love working with Window Nation because of their A-plus rating for the Better Business Bureau, because of the 96% customer satisfaction rating. They have over 45,000 5-star reviews. Check them out online, windownation.com. You can call Window Nation at 866-90-NATION and hurry because this sale ends soon. Online at windownation.com. Put Lead Company on your team and stay ahead of the game with home maintenance, repairs, and more. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling. For as little as $14 a month, become a Lead Company Plus member and receive 4 annual visits to your home for your heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical systems. Yeah, we're in false fall here in Middle Tennessee. It's been in the 50s as we begin our mornings, but makes you think a little bit about, hey, is our heating system ready for when we're going to have to use it? Maybe not totally ready to run it through the ringer yet, but with Lead Company Plus, you're going to always stay ahead because everything is going to be running smoothly. You get these regular visits from the folks at Lead Company, and also they got a deal for you. Lead Company Plus members receive up to 20% off on every visit. You also enjoy priority service, just one of the many great offers you get when you head online to leadcompany.com. Check out more details, leadcompany.com/plus. Platinum home protection starts with a Lead Company Plus membership. Call them at 615-567-1000 or head online to leadcompany.com. That's Lead Company, all you need. Ramona Will, 104.5 The Zone. The Titans have an initial 53-man roster, and we've got takes. We're in studio. The executive producer of Titans Radio, Rhett Bryan, in the building. Ramon Foster, president and accounted for, and Justin Hawkins is our producer. 615-737-1045. I'm going to let the chat take us to the first player on our shopping list, Rhett Bryan.
Okay, let's go shopping.
I think has been mentioned more in the F&M Big Chat this morning than anyone else so far today. Wide receiver Trey Palmer became available yesterday. Returner, 2-year pro in Tampa. Had just under 200 receiving yards last year, but that is a receiving room that is loaded down there that is hard to crack into, to say the least. Is he on your shopping list today? Did he?
He would be one of
radar?
those. And I'll tell you another one that I would need to see what his health situation is like. But KJ Osborne got let go from Washington, and he was hurt last year at some point because I think he appeared in 8 games maybe. But I looked at his career numbers, 11.5 yards per catch, 16 touchdowns. I think he had 24 explosive plays of 20 yards or more, but had 5 plays of 40 yards or more. But certainly Trey Palmer got my attention, 100%. I think it's interesting that that's what's led the chat in this with names people are suggesting. And listen, you can draw a line to things, and we should, because I think Mike Morganzi, you should pay attention to particular cuts the Kansas City Chiefs have made. Marlon Tuipulotu is one that you might keep your eyes on, a defensive tackle. I was surprised they cut Mike Edwards, their safety, yesterday as well. But yeah, Trey Palmer, that would be a nice pick. And I think that's where Titans fans are looking. It's like, okay, we know we have Calvin Ridley. Who's the number 2 receiver? And that's no knock to Tyler Lockett. It's just Tyler is getting a little older, and he will be more than serviceable. Like he's done it well for a long time. And I think everybody right now is thinking that Elikiah Manor is going to be the guy that grows into that role to be the number 2 wide receiver, and probably down the stretch of the season if things have gone in the right way.
Totally.
I got one off the wall for myself, and I've seen it come up like 2-3 times.
All right.
I'm probably off on this one, but big boy, Desmond Watson, right? What's your analysis on him?
Well, I mean, they knew the weight situation when they brought him in, and then without knowing, full context, sounds like he has had issues with that and never, because he was never allowed to practice. He never passed his physical, I don't believe.
It's kind of sad.
It is.
And he rang in at like 4:30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a big fella.
And not the time. He didn't get weighed in at 4:30 p.m. He weighed in
he
at 4:30
halfway through
pounds.
the blazing hour.
Exactly.
I might change my tune.
Sorry, I said that.
I might change my tune, and this is not about them in general, but I don't think I will ever allow a kid of mine to play under Billy Napier because of how he let that go. Whether they couldn't get a hold of it or whether
set him up for failure.
And they still put him out there on the field.
They set him up for failure.
They kind of used it as a
bit.
As a thing.
They did.
Right. They made a thing out of it.
They made a thing out of it. And I think I've heard people that was close to him in training camp. It's like, got some of the best hips. He's 6'5". He can move well. But he came into this with, no pun intended, a lot of baggage. And I blame his university for that. Tennessee didn't allow Dan McCullers to do that at UT.
He was, pushing 370, 380 at the end of his time in Tennessee.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I kind of wanted to death that, like, the NFL doesn't have room for that, is what I'm letting the people know that bring him up. Like, he can build Tavondre. No, don't disrespect Tavondre like that.
And Tavondre's had to work on his own things.
Yeah, he has.
At a lighter weight to begin with. Mm-hmm. So... But yeah, I totally understand what you're saying is that the university strength and conditioning program, or lack thereof in this case, set the young man up for failure.
Yeah, they did.
And those stock photos you saw from photographers there, and it's like just the long look on his face. It's like I kind of felt bad for the guy.
I did too.
I did too. Yeah. At corner, Rhett, the Titans keep Gabe Jeudy-Lally as the sixth corner on the roster. At DB, they've had him work as the backup nickel, which is kind of where he added value through training camp, was backing up Roger McCreary. I thought it was interesting yesterday, and I was hoping this guy would become available because we talked about him a ton when he was coming out of the NFL draft from Auburn, was former Dolphins corner and Commanders corner Noah Igbenogany. Diana Rossini had the report out there that Noah Igbenogany was being shopped around, which makes you think, oh, is he going to become available? Like, do they not want him to make the 53? So they're trying to get something for him. He did end up making the roster. I think that would have been a good backup nickel option of a speedier guy.
A fellow track guy for you, Noah Igbenogany.
Who's played inside. But at corner, what catches your eye there? The F&M Bank chat has been clamoring for Kobe Bryant,
I saw that.
who we saw in Atlanta a couple of weeks ago throughout the morning. Where else do you look at corner to say, this is maybe a place where the Titans can add? Is that a priority, you think, for this organization today on the waiver wire?
I think it depends on where they truly think, feel, and believe where L'Jarius Sneed is, because he's just been removed from the PUP list, and clearly they want him back there in the lineup. They've paid him a lot of money, and he comes with a pedigree. So I think that is a big part of the deciding factor in this. And Gabe Jeudy-Lally, that guy, he has done nothing but just bust his rear end as soon as he came into the building, and he's done well. And every time he's gotten an opportunity to try to better himself and to better the product there, but it really hinges on L'Jarius Sneed. And I haven't had a chance to really look around the league at other corners, but Kobe Bryant makes sense.
13 interceptions in his career at Kansas, was seen as a top 150 player in the draft at one point.
Kobe
went undrafted.
Different Kobe, sorry. R.I.P. Kobe.
Same meaning, right?
Same meaning.
The other guy who went, who got released yesterday, and he's been banged up his whole career. And I think considering the Titans' priority of availability and guys to be healthy, it probably doesn't make sense. But Juju Brents, 2023 second-round pick, being let go by the Colts yesterday was a
long
shock.
dude.
Yeah, and I know Teron
he passed
Davenport,
the eyeball test.
100%.
Sure.
Teron Davenport put it out there yesterday on Twitter saying that is a Denard Wilson fit in terms of a sticky, handsy, physical corner that if he's healthy, like if they brought him in, Rhett, and checked out the medicals and said, yep, good to go, sign me up. That's just a really big if, considering how much he's been hurt.
Yeah. I keep wanting to say Juju Brent-Schuster.
I know, right? I know.
But no, we followed Juju quite closely in that draft process in looking at his combine and all of those. We liked him coming out. Let's look and see what his combine stuff was. I need to refresh my memory here. 4.53 in the 40. I accept cookies, NFL, yes. 6'3", 198. Arms 34 inches. Hands 9 5/8. When I said long, I meant long. 157 in the first 10. There's the explosion right there.
Totally.
41.5-inch vert, 11.6 broad, 3-cone drills, 6.63.
Yeah, right.
20-yard shuttle, 405. Had a 3-cone at 6.63.
Right.
At 6'3", 198.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he went in the second round.
Get that.
Yeah. That was, but you're right. He's had health issues in his time in the league, and that could be somebody's get him well project that could pay dividends for somebody. But I think Teron's right. That would be a Denard Wilson type of play. In fact, this guy isn't as long, but I mean, that's what I think they see in Kevin Winston Jr.
Uh-huh.
And going back to the Gabe Jeudy-Lally conversation, Kevin Winston Jr. could be your big nickel in this. Mm-hmm. They just got to get him right because he's still coming back from that knee. He doesn't have any other injuries. It's just they're very precautionary about making sure that he's right.
Yes.
He hasn't done anything. He doesn't have anything torn or tweaked or whatever. There's just signs there. that they need to take it slow, and that's what they're doing.
You have to be curious, too, in looking around the AFC South at one particular team. And we talked about it, Will. We talked about teams that move forward and teams that may move backwards. Looking at this offensive line situation that Houston somewhat put themselves in a little bit, I know they're going with a rookie, the high upside, looking to trade Cam Robinson, but that's a fascinating place to be at when we think from the outside looking in that there's a window there.
Bold.
You know what's interesting, and I'm so glad you brought this up from just a division look at things. I went to speak at the Clarksville Kiwanis Club yesterday for their lunch, and towards the end of just talking about what the Titans are up to, I closed with, here's kind of a bullet point thumbnail description of what the division looks like right now. And the first thing I said is, listen, the AFC South isn't a stone-cold lead pipe lock that Houston takes it again. Mm-hmm. And I prefaced it by Jacksonville is the one that you have to watch because of new GM, new coach, and Liam Cohen. And if Liam Cohen brings out the best in sunshine, as I call him, Trevor Lawrence, if that ever clicks with all the stuff that he has around him, because Brian Thomas Jr. is going to be a problem. I watched a couple of their preseason games on NFL Plus, and that dude, he's the issue.
He can just get open.
If all of that comes to be, that's a problem for everyone in the division, including the Titans, twice a year. But I went over what the Houston Texans had done when I was speaking to these guys yesterday in regard to their offensive line. I'm like, this isn't, this is an interesting approach to trying to protect your investment in C.J. Stroud, because C.J. Stroud has been running for his life for a minute now, and it's interesting what they've done in that churn.
It really is, and Ben Solak of ESPN put it out yesterday that C.J. Stroud saw 2 high safeties 49% of the time last year. That was the 5th highest rate in the NFL. They weren't able to consistently run the football behind that bad offensive line either. And now Joe Mixon's out for the first 4 games on IR, which also makes it tougher for them to have those safeties creep up a little bit and give him windows and spaces to throw. I totally agree with you. I think it is bold of them to take the worst spot on the field on their offense and make it worse by getting rid of the best player on it in Laremy Tunsil.
And the other thing that I'm looking at roster wise, just they traded away Kenyon Green, and Kenyon Green got released yesterday. He was one of the guys that got cut, but they made that trade. I forget who with, and got Harrison Bryant, the tight end. They ended up cutting him. I'm like, that's interesting that you're swapping things around, and then I don't know. But the offensive line, that's the key to that thing. And people are like, Rhett, that's an elementary statement.
No, it's true.
I almost ran my car off of I-40. Well, that's true. But in this case, it is so the story in Houston. Because if that line is not what it's supposed to be and C.J. Stroud gets hurt, forget it.
And you break up the dynamic a little bit, too, especially with a guy like Cam Robinson that you traded for, right? Or they signed in free agency to get him. And now you're telling him, oh, no, you're not good enough. We're going to go with the rookie. Like, ego-wise, and they cut Trent Brown. Ego-wise, that's got to hit you in the feels a little bit, man, knowing that you're the first one out if they find something for Ariante Irsay.
They're very high on Ariante Irsay.
I absolutely
We
love
saw that guy at Senior Bowl. He is a mammoth.
Yes, he is.
But that's a whole lot of pressure on a rook. Ask J.C. Latham.
Yeah.
Ask him.
Starting a rookie left tackle is not something teams in quote-unquote Super Bowl windows do.
No.
That's true.
Not like that.
Because usually your roster construction is such that you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
No, that's true.
Who's the Tristan Wirfs with Brady? But Brady was getting that ball out in Tampa. Wasn't it? Yeah, that's the only situation.
It's a unique circumstance.
Yeah, unique.
Because that was kind of a 2-year window that opened the second Tom put pen to paper.
Exactly.
This is one that opened the second C.J. Stroud won his first playoff game, beating the Browns a couple of years ago. Yeah.
And I forget how many times that C.J. Stroud was sacked last year. I want to say it was like 68.
He was up there.
It was way up there.
This is also, we're having the exact conversation. Mike Tannenbaum has been on a tour of ESPN yesterday. Did you guys see this? Saying the Titans are going to win the AFC South.
I missed that one.
Whoa.
He said yesterday, Mike Tannenbaum went on the record, said he was on First Take and he was on Get Up. And he didn't have anybody agree with him, but he said, this was his reasoning, saying the Titans are winning the AFC South because they've got a very good offensive line in Tennessee to protect Cam Ward, and C.J. Stroud has 5 new starters up front. That was word for word what he said. He said, I love C.J. Stroud, but he was sacked 52 times last year.
I was a little
Stroud
high, but still, 52 is a lot.
And the thing about that is you risk breaking a quarterback when you live that way. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, we've seen it happen. And I still believe that it's part of the reason why Marcus Mariota panned out the way that he did with the injuries and with you start to just learn how to get sacked.
Let's go with the prime.
That's real.
You made the Titans. Excuse me. You made the Titans example. Let's make the Houston Texans example. David Carr sacked 82 times his rookie year. Now, I know that one for sure.
It's a hard record
because I saw it a lot, and that broke him.
That's one of the most unbreakable
Go check
records
me and see if I ain't right.
I mean, honestly.
I want to say, I'm pretty sure it's 82 times.
I believe you.
A couple of other things that, I mentioned running back.
76.
If they do any. Okay. All right.
Still a ton of
in
times.
a rookie year?
What did the coaches' film show? It wouldn't go that way. That's not how that works. A couple of other things, like I mentioned running backs in the first segment as a possible thing there. Cam Akers is out on the market. Audric Estime, who, would go right back, in this case, would go right back to Mile High to play next weekend, who is a nice back. Those are nice choices. I'm just interested. The Shy Tuttle thing that's been reported that the team hasn't done officially, report-wise, makes total sense because you feel good about who that front is, but you need depth there. Mm-hmm. And that was a chance, I think, in their opinion, to solidify and bolster some stuff there. And again, I look for, another 3 or 4 moves maybe in this just to see what's what, because unless they're, now obviously vested veterans, you don't get that luxury, but the guys that have less service, you got a chance. And that, how many times did we hear Brian Callahan and Mike Borgonzi talk about a chance to, air quotes here, steal another draft pick? Mm-hmm. Like Chris Pooh Paul, you
5th round pick.
Yeah. You talked about him, and that's not CP3. That's a different Pooh Paul. That's a different Chris Paul. That's why he goes by Pooh, I guess. But you hear the reason there with the Rams is that, special teams wasn't as good as, but the other thing, there's a track record there with what they put talent-wise in the second level of that Rams defense, because that's how the Titans got the linebacker last year.
Ernest Jones.
Jones. So I'm sure that, the special teams part of it was huge because it is for anybody, any rookie coming in.
Right.
But they have a track record. There's a little trend there.
Can I say a trend too real quick?
Go.
Say whatever you want.
Houston has been in the top 10 3 times with sacks in a single season. David Carr in 02 was 76. David Carr in 05 was 68. And Deshaun Watson was 62 and 18.
Hello.
They got a protection problem down there. And they got rid of one of the best ones to do it. Fascinating.
Well, and Trent Brown, though, I think, didn't he have some nagging injury issue things as part of it?
I can see that, but Trent issue I've always seen, too, or heard, has always been his size, his weight from time to time, too. Mm. Trent has always just been
and
like,
he's not getting any younger either.
Yeah.
Because he's, 36?
He up there. He just a couple years behind me, I think.
So inside linebacker, corner, running back, you say probably the 3 biggest.
And maybe wide receiver.
Priorities, yeah.
Maybe wide receiver.
Wide receiver / returner.
But yeah, that's just kind of what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
There you go.
But I am not the general manager of the Tennessee Titans, and thank goodness for that.
You are, however, the executive producer of Titans Radio, and the next time we visit with you, it will be, for the very first time, a game week.
Oh, boy.
We'll be in here comparing our notes on the Denver Broncos, previewing our first matchup.
Oh, boy, did you know the Denver Broncos, what they're hearing?
We'll get our
exactly.
altitude
exactly
masks
right, Jayhawk.
and get ready to do that next Wednesday. Thank you, Rhett. Good to see you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it.
Coming up, some NFL headlines for you. A couple of quarterback headlines yesterday. One who was announced a starter. Another who is reportedly going to be used in a sub-package throughout the season. We'll dive into that as we wrap up Hour 2 next.
It's Ramon Foster for Jewel Roofing and Exteriors, man. I'm here to tell you about my friends at Jewel Roofing, man. They are a trusted, family-owned Middle Tennessee company serving from Clarksville all the way down to Murfreesboro for over 25 years, man. I tell you guys all the time, build a relationship and have met the owner of Jewel Roofing, Robbie, man. Great guy, amazing family. And here's the thing about it, too. From the area, y'all know we love local, man. And I'm here to tell you this. They stand out by building relationships and earning trust through referrals, never through high-pressure tactics, door knocking, or storm chasing. They came out to my house about a couple weeks ago. Robbie himself walked to my roof, saw a couple of things like, yeah, we'll just tack that up. We're good right here. You don't need to replace a whole roof because of this one thing. Just, you can trust them. Listen, if you want to have somebody come by your house and walk your roof, see what's going on with you because some other storm chaser tells you need a new roof, no, absolutely not. Visit my friends, man, at Jewel Roofing and Exteriors. You can call their number 615-868-9999 or visit jewelroofing.com. That's Jewel Roofing with 2 L's.com.
Wrapping up hour 2 this morning on a Bone and Will, fueled by Scooter's Coffee. I got good news for you. If you have got a meeting in the 8 a.m. hour when friend of the program, Mike Golick Jr. is going to join us, never fear. If you have to miss it, well, you can download the Ramon and Will podcast wherever you download podcasts. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. The replay of the show is also just up. You can watch us on 104.5 The Zone TV, where people still, time to time, Ramon, think I'm giving bad facial expressions and reactions to things that people are saying.
Well, no, Will.
I'm happy to be here.
Like I know you. Like the thing that I've learned, and we know certain people that have it. Sometimes you just got resting face. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to put the other word in it. It's RBF. It's common. I do that sometimes. I get happy sometimes. I'm like, I don't want to be happy right now.
Juju Schaefer used to call it resting bowling face.
Resting bowling face.
I promise you, I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, nah, we good in here.
Thanks,
Always
I hate
good.
it.
No, I really don't hate it. That's the whole point.
Hey, you know who would be awesome here?
Who's that?
Brock Bowers.
Inside joke. I'm hoping to ever have an inside joke.
If you missed hour 1, you can download the Ramon and Will podcast wherever you download podcasts and understand why Ramon just made that joke. Spencer Rattler is the quarterback 1 of the New Orleans Saints. Head coach Kellen Moore announced it yesterday in New Orleans. He wins the battle over rookie Tyler Shuck, who is old enough to rent a car already. Jake Haener was a part of the competition. He was released. He was waived from the roster on Tuesday as well. Kellen Moore saying that Spencer Rattler has done an awesome job this offseason. He's been consistent. He's made some really good decisions throughout the entire process, and his ability to make plays with his arm and his feet have certainly showed up. Spencer Rattler, who is in year 3 in the NFL, but is younger than the player he was battling with in rookie Tyler Shuck. Welcome to football in the year of our Lord 2025.
Hold up, his name
second
is
year
Ricky?
in the NFL, excuse me.
His name is Ricky?
Huh?
His name is Ricky Tyler Shuck? Oh, you said rookie.
Rookie.
I thought you said Ricky.
No.
Oh, my God.
No, Brock Bowers.
I was about to say that man named Ricky. What the heck? But no. I think more than anything, it'll probably be Shucks later. Sending a rookie out there that soon is it can be problematic for a team that I don't think has a lot of good bones to it.
I think they might be the worst team in the NFL.
They have to be at this point. Will it's not it's not a lot of sunshine with what they got going on down there, man. I saw a fan of the Saints bring up the idea when Archie Manning mentioned that Arch would go back to school. And this fan was just like, he don't understand. We'll do this every year. We'll start quarterback C every year until Arch comes out. We don't get tired.
Well, Arch debunked that, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I saw
Archie
that.
had to apologize and say oh, actually, no, never mind.
Yeah, he did.
Which we told you the day that happened. But
yeah, for a second, I believe Grandpa. I thought he was all like they sat down and had a family conversation about this.
Spencer Rattler 0-6 last season in 6 starts. He completed 57% of his passes for just over 1,300 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. Imagine how down bad you have to be as a fan base, learning that Spencer Rattler is your starting quarterback a week and a half to week 1.
It don't even seem right. I was pleasantly surprised, and let me say this too. For a guy that beat the odds, if that's what we want to call it, I don't know if this is Tank Fest. I don't know if this suck for Saints and all that type of stuff that's going on right now. But what I do know is I never saw him as an opening day starter. And if he truly beat the odds of being a guy that they feel like is going to elevate that team, because that's what I think this has to be. There is an elevation that is happening if you name him the starter. Well, I'm putting money down is what I'm saying. Like, I can't bet, but I'll put $2 on the side over there and say this is for our bigger cause for Spencer Rattler.
You'll put a Scooter's Coffee gift card out there.
That's all I'm saying. And it sucks to be in his position because the team's not strong enough, in my opinion, with a new head coach.
No, I agree.
That everybody knows they're looking to the West in Austin, Texas for their future.
I'm not a Tyler Shuck believer.
I do know that too.
I just don't think he is. I just don't think he's very good. I think he's fine. I think he's got a big arm. I think we, in a year where there weren't a ton of great quarterbacks at a draft, talked ourselves into a guy again.
I liked him at the Senior Bowl. I will say that.
Sure.
I thought he looked consistent at the Senior Bowl.
There's potential there. There's not give the guys the key to a franchise there. And maybe they've already realized that.
Do you say the same for Spencer Rattler then?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I wanted. It was consistent.
Neither of these guys are franchise quarterbacks.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Tyler Shuck may prove me wrong. Maybe he does, but he's got all the tools and traits. But guy was in college for a really long time and was kind of a one-season wonder.
I'm looking at the first comment, and Spencer Rattler has to think this too, but Brian puts in there, Saints are tanking for Manning. Book it. Hashtag family reunion. You think franchises have set themselves up like this?
I don't even know if they're necessarily tanking as much as they are stuck because of all the bad contracts.
And that's the other part of it. It's coming due.
It is. It 100% is. The Seattle Seahawks say they have a Jalen Milroe package. This is interesting. Mike McDonald was asked, could Milroe be a scout team quarterback as the Seattle Seahawks initial 53-man roster came out? He said, of course. First of all, he needs reps, as does Drew Lock. We're going to have plays for Jalen and game plans, and he's going to rep those with the ones. However we build the package for him going into games, he needs those reps and walk through in full speed, so that's going to be important. Seahawks head coach Mike McDonald goes on to say how we do it and who gets how many reps, all that. Sam Darnold, it starts with how many reps he needs to get ready, and then we work off from there. What do you think about Jalen Milroe having a special package as a rookie in Seattle?
I think it's solid for a team that's going to need help at that position right there. I'll say this, too. It's a nice change-up. I don't think he was in Baltimore whenever they were lightly doing this with Lamar Jackson, but I've seen teams incorporate guys with legs in games like this. Having them be in a position where it's a change-up for the defense that has to face them. If you're telling me that his best pathway of getting some experience is running the football or being an RPO guy, I live that life because, again, Sam Darnold's a guy out there, right? Like, he's a statue in the pocket for the most part. This is a nice switch up to keep defenses on their heels. And also, him being a defensive head coach, he's probably thinking, what would be a problem for me? Well, let me use this very athletic quarterback.
Really interested to see how Jalen Milroe can work on his accuracy and overall pocket presence and fix some things that are usually unfixable. Because I love the guy. I think Jalen Milroe, the person, is outstanding. I think he's got a terrific arm, and clearly he's an outstanding athlete. I just think there are too many things for him to fix that don't often get fixed in order for him to become a franchise quarterback in the NFL.
I think Bama used him wrong his last year.
Really?
I do. I think he would have been better suited to be a runner.
They learned that late in the season, but maybe a little too late in the season. Coming up, we will reset the headlines for you this morning. The big surprise of the Titans' initial 53-man roster. If there is one position you think the Titans are most likely to make a move on, what is it? We'll talk about that next.
Guys, you already know Synergex and Low T Center have been changing the lives of men across the country for over a decade. Testosterone replacement therapy has helped men get their energy back, regain confidence, save their marriages, and just help overcome symptoms associated with depression. Yes, that can affect a lot of things, man, okay? But did you also know that women with hormonal imbalances experience many of the same symptoms of men with low testosterone? And guys, you know how frustrating that can be. But for the first time ever, Low T Center is now offering hormone replacement therapy for women. Low T doesn't just affect guys. In fact, testosterone can benefit women as well. Other treatment options are available to help women balance their hormones or just bring back life to anybody at this point, man. With in-center and at-home treatment options available for women, find out which one is right for you. And also, their providers are some of the best ever. They have injections for you, topical creams, and pellets too. So if you're looking to get back to your best and just simply help yourself, visit one of the Synergex or Low T centers around the Middle Tennessee area for a lot more information to help you be better. Or book an appointment, you can head over to fixmylowt.com. Again, the website is fixmylowt.com. And be sure to tell them that Ramon sent you.
Hey, it's Will Bowling. I want to tell you about a new obsession as we start tailgate season, football season, snacking season. Daisy French onion dip. Yeah, it's one of my guilty pleasures this time of year. I am all over the chips and the dip. And look, it's a pro move when you show up at the tailgate. You got to have time to be scouting the games, scouting the opponents, taking a look at all of the menu items that you got by just bring in some Daisy French onion dip in a nondescript container. It's the best way to do it. You're going to impress your friends at the tailgate. They're going to think you made a homemade dip, because I'm telling you, this Daisy French onion dip and this Daisy ranch dip are game changers. They are as delicious as homemade dips. They're made with real herbs and spices, plus other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. I invite you to give it a try. I am all over this Daisy French onion dip as we start football season. You can find it all around you. Look for Daisy French onion dip at a grocery store near you.
It is 8:01. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone Studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The NFL roster cut deadline day has come and gone, and teams around the league, including the Tennessee Titans, are down to the initial 53-man rosters. Undrafted rookie Brandon Crenshaw-Dickson did make the 53 for the Titans over Jalen Duncan, and the Titans hold the top spot in the waiver order and have the first choice to claim any player of their choosing. Waiver claims are due by 11 11 a.m. Central this morning, and the NFL will process them shortly after. And other Titans news yesterday, the Titans have already begun making moves past their initial 53 as they're intending to sign former Panthers and Saints defensive tackle Shai Tuttle to a one-year deal, who was released by the Panthers yesterday. In NFL news this morning, the Detroit Lions are trading wide receiver Tim Patrick to the Jacksonville Jaguars in exchange for a 2026 sixth-round pick. And in Tennessee Vols news, yesterday, head football coach Josh Heupel signed a new contract extension that will keep him in Knoxville through the 2030 season that the school announced yesterday. The news comes days before Tennessee opens up its season against Syracuse this Saturday in Atlanta. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 3 of your Wednesday morning, kicking it off for you in beautiful Music City, USA. Hope you're having a great start to your day. 2 hours in, 2 more to go. 615-737-1045. How you join us? Who's on the top of your wish list, or what position is on the top of your wish list for the Tennessee Titans today? The trickle of news could start any minute. We'll be joined by Mike Golick Jr. coming up here in 15 minutes. We'll talk to him about Catholics versus convicts, Ramon. Back. Miami versus Notre Dame.
Right, we're in there.
One of many excellent Week 1 college football games. It also works very well that we scheduled Mike Golick Jr. before Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged.
Sometime the
I thought we were
world.
going to go a whole show without that.
Oh, no.
Are you kidding me? No.
Man, the NFL tweeted about it. What are you talking about?
It was a push notification from ESPN. There were husbands, boyfriends, and fiancés all around the country
Feeling
who
like
got to
22.
break the news to their significant others yesterday because ESPN reported it.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, ESPN posted this. I got a News Channel 5 and 2 push notification. Shout out to Peyton Kennedy.
She was very excited.
Did she send the push notification out? That's the question I need to ask you.
Did she send it out?
Yes.
No, she was. She did say that everyone in their building was like running looking for her when it happened. She had just gotten off air
Yeah.
and anchoring the 11 a.m. News on News 2, and she was. If it had happened 5 minutes earlier, she could have broken the news to Nashville. People were saying
the very important Peyton.
Yes, that's right. People were saying yesterday that they felt like Paul Revere letting their friends know.
No, for real.
We used to send people to war, Ramon. Now we we act like Paul Revere when pop star gets in.
Listen.
We still send people to war.
My only suggestion is this. Is Mike Golick Jr. and Peyton, and you have to have a group chat at some point. Even if he don't come to the wedding, like their love that they have for Taylor S. Swift, okay, has to be the same. And like those two people they drive on the same highway is all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's right.
They drive on the same hallway.
We love Mike's takes on football, food, and Taylor Swift. Primarily. Mike Golick Jr.'s big 3. So congratulations to former Butch Jones player and Week 16 Tennessee Titans opponent Travis Kelce on being engaged to Titans fan Taylor Swift.
Does this get live streamed like when
His wedding?
Yeah, yes. Like, is it like when the royal court got married? Is it that level?
People did make that joke yesterday and said that it is like the American royal wedding.
No, it is.
There's also a chance that their wedding ends up being on the same day as my wedding because we're getting married on a 13th. Ooh. And that is apparently Taylor Swift's number. She does everything on the 13th.
Okay.
So Peyton would pass away, I think, if we had the same wedding date as Taylor Swift and Travis. I saw one other thing, and then I'll leave it because I know people want real football talk.
No, this is real football talk.
Is it? There were people yesterday, somebody said, imagine today you were planning on proposing to your girlfriend, and then now you've got to make the business decision of, wait, do I do this now on the same day as Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, or do I wait?
Might have to take a back seat. I'm going to be real with you. It's nothing. Like right now, it's on the ESPN homepage.
Oh, of course it is.
World reacts to Kelsey Swift engagement.
I will not be clicking on that.
Was it, so as we continue this on, just real quick, was this planned? Was she surprised?
I don't know.
And then the other
You'd
question you have to ask when you're talking about Taylor Swift, who account at this point of valuation is in the billionaire side of it.
Yeah, she's the biggest. Is she the most popular singer in the world alive right now?
I think no. Bad Bunny.
No.
I don't think Bad Bunny's more popular than Taylor Swift.
Will. So. Worldwide, Bad Bunny.
No, but like, look, Taylor Swift did a tour in 49 countries or something like that too. I know Bad Bunny too. Like, don't get me wrong, but I don't know.
Bad Bunny.
Who do people freak out more over, though?
Bad Bunny.
You would be surprised on Bad Bunny, but she's still not as big. He's still not as big as Taylor.
I'm telling you.
Anyway, we have to talk real football.
But real
the
quick,
Titans are going to make waiver additions today.
Super Bowl rings real quick.
Oh, my gosh.
Just like
how
Taylor
big
Swift
is
said,
her
look
rock?
what you made me do.
Is this a $500,000 ring? Or is this more sentimental because, like, this is perfect?
Is she buying it?
These are the questions I'm thinking of. No, hell no, she's not buying.
No, yeah, he's got money.
You buy your own ring, J-Hawk. How about that then? Okay.
I already did.
It's got to be like $250,000 ring. All right, moving on. But that is insane. I can't wait to ask Mike all these questions on top of Notre Dame questions.
Yeah, as we move on, we're about to move back towards it with Mike coming up in a minute. What is the one position, Ramon, where you feel like the Titans are most likely to add help today?
Add help today. I guess D tackle's out the way.
Shai Tuttle added yesterday, reportedly.
Reportedly. It has to be, again, running back or edge. But again, it's going to be hard to find an edge. Those are the positions I'm looking for. I think offensive line is set up as much as you need it to be. No issues at quarterback. It has to be running back or edge at this point for me. I look at a guy that plays corner, but I think there's probably a backup unless they're a project for you. Those are the two positions for me, running back or edge.
I would say inside linebacker and corner would be the two for me.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think there is a ton of value out there at edge. I don't know. I mean, some names that are of interest. Justin Mello put out a long list saying, here's the wish list and here are the options that he thinks are interesting. Braden Swinson, Julian Okwara, Brennan Jackson, and Isaiah Foskey. I mean, you're talking about guys that are 3, 4, 5 sack guys, maybe. Yeah. I mean, Brennan Jackson has impressed in preseason. He had 3 sacks in preseason, but he didn't do anything last year for the Rams in regular season games. So you are looking at projectable, athletic guys. Here's where the bottom of the roster for the Titans at this point. It's exactly what we talked about yesterday when Zach Lyons puts it out, or put it out himself. You got to decide, is there an inside linebacker better than Curtis Jacobs? Is there an edge that is more valuable than Jalen Harrell? Is there a corner that you feel like is an upgrade on Gabe Jeudy-Lally? Is there a quarterback, Ramon, that you feel like is better than Brandon Allen? Do you think the Titans are shopping for quarterback?
No. No. I think he and Cam, Brandon Allen, Cam's relationship is solidified enough, and Brandon Allen knows the role that he's going to have to play for this squad, too. I don't think you mess that room up at all by bringing in a guy. I say he's solid. He's so good more than anything. Somebody brought in there, and I've seen him a little bit this offseason too. Beanie Bishop as a role player, slot guy, could actually work too at corner. But again, he's a depth piece. Anybody at this point is a depth piece. You're just trying to get 1% better. That's what you're saying essentially, though, too, Will. Like, looking at Jalen Harrell's situation, like, is there somebody out there? It's probably a comp, right? I don't think you're going for my position on you going for an edge guy is for depth that you can rely upon or that fits the type a little bit more. I think Jalen Harrell's a little bit smaller than the edges that they want. I don't think he has the speed off the edge that you necessarily need to make him a threat either. And I think they're looking for stout guys until they get their DNA of this defense set up front. I think it's more of that as opposed to, who's available to make a splash.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. I think they're looking for depth. They're looking for young players who can stick.
Yeah.
I do think quarterback is interesting with some of the younger guys who you could put on the practice squad and develop over time. Kyle McCord is really interesting to me, Ramon.
Really?
I think Kyle McCord, and again, he would have to clear waivers unless you are willing to put him on your 53-man roster. It does sound like, from what Paul Kuharsky has put out there, they want Trevor Siemian on the practice squad. Trevor Siemian is a guy who's been around with Brian Callahan. He was here last year, so he obviously understands the system, understands how to help Cam Ward. It does feel like that's been the priority for the organization this time around. Let's get older backup quarterbacks that can essentially be like grad assistants that you would talk about in college, or other assistant QB coaches for Cam in the QB room. But I wouldn't hate bringing in a young developmental quarterback that can be a long-term backup for Cam.
Long-term backup? I think it has to be him. As young as Cam is, you need somebody with experience. You need somebody that understands the game, that also knows how to communicate with him. Brandon Allen has been that type of guy. I feel like in year 4 for Cam, you bring in like a 5th-round draft pick or something like that. That's a developmental guy that you can say, you know what? Yeah, we got to start planning for your type, or the type of player that can fit this offense as easy as we wanted to if you're out. But Cam needs wisdom, in my personal opinion, when it comes down to, hey, I've seen this before. Even if I hadn't played through, I've been with guys that have been in these type of scenarios. I look at Ben Roethlisberger's Charlie Batch, right? I'm looking at that type of scenario more than anything. Until Cam is established, he needs a veteran presence more than anything when it comes down to that room, even if it sacrifices losing because the backup isn't as good. Like, I don't think you need it per se right now, a younger guy, unless you're just trying to develop somebody on practice squad. But how much attention can you give a young guy when you also need to give that same energy to Cam?
That's a good point.
Yeah. It's just the way I've seen it be.
If you're going to add anyone within that skill set and context, McCord would be the one for me.
Yeah.
But I think you're probably right. I think they will prioritize the older vet who can help mentor Cam. Yeah. Coming up, Mike Golick Jr. joins us after this. The Nashville real estate market is difficult to navigate, and just because everyone wants to move here doesn't mean it's easy to sell your home. Hey, what's going on? It's Will Bowling, Bernie Gallerani, and Bernie Gallerani Realty. That's the place that I go, the guy that I trust to relocate in Nashville, and that's because Bernie Gallerani has a guarantee for you. He personally guarantees to sell your home in 30 days or less, or he'll buy it. Yeah, that's no risk to you. Bernie will let you out of the contract at any time. He is the real estate agent who has the 30-day guarantee. And if not, he will buy it from you. So if you're ready to sell your home, you start by knowing its true value. The new home estimator at BernieGallerani.com. It is fast. It's free. It's easy to use. You just go to the top of the homepage, click on how much is your home really worth. You could be sitting on a gold mine and not even realize it. Heck, Bernie is so confident about his ability to help you, he's given out his personal cell phone number, 615-428-2644. If you're looking to relocate, maybe you're just thinking about it, you're curious what value your home has, check it out at BernieGallerani.com. That's Bernie Gallerani Realty. Call him at 615-428-2644. Ramona Willow, 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooters Coffee, Ramon Foster, and Will Bowling. We had a blank space in our Wednesday morning, and we wrote Mike Golick Jr.'s name. Joining us this morning, it's food, it's football, it's life, it's Taylor Swift. It's a little bit of everything when our good friend Mike Golick Jr. joins us. What's up, Mike? How you doing? Mike, you got us?
Michael.
I got you guys now. Sorry. Apparently, the forces that be were afraid of how much Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce love was going to happen. They threw a wrench in our plan.
Listen, nobody can stop this, Mike. Not a single soul. Not even you, Dale.
No, that's for sure. Well, guys, what a glorious day yesterday was. I don't know about you, but when that lightning bolt hit my cell phone, shout out to good friend and NBC Sports insider Nicole Arbach. She was the one that broke the news to me. This is so embarrassing, but I have to tell you guys, we were reporting an interview for our show with Nebraska head coach Matt Rule, and I looked down at my phone, and I just saw in all caps, "They're engaged." And immediately knew who she was talking about, which is hilarious, and then got full-body chills while staring at a man that's going to help kick off college football in 2 days for week 1. So that was my Tuesday. How were you guys?
Good. Good, Mike. I'm engaged right now to a Swiftie who is just excited because you'll get this, Mike. Our date is on a 13th next year, and so then the now non-zero chance that we're going to get married on maybe the same day as Travis Kelce or Taylor Swift. Mike, I don't know if that's good for me or bad for me or just something I'm going to have to go ahead and accept now, but it's something that's definitely probably going to happen.
No, listen, and shout out to you for being a good, future Swiftie husband and understanding that this isn't about you anymore. It's about your fiance, Taylor Swift, and Travis Kelce, and then you were just a bystander on this, and that's okay. There's still a place for you there.
I want plausible deniability as well that there is. That we had already scheduled Mike before this news broke, so this was this timing worked out perfectly. Truly could not have worked out better for us to react with you on this, Mike. Another big game, though, tons of big games in college football. Yeah. This is as good as week 1 has been in so long in college football. And your Notre Dame Fighting Irish rekindling a rivalry with Miami, something of bad blood between those two. I'm just going to work as many titles as I can into this.
Love it.
What is your vibe on this game, on CJ Carr, on the expectations for Marcus Freeman this year? Because the ability to reload, Mike, is a significant challenge in college football in 2025. How do you think Notre Dame has reloaded with the massive expectations facing them this year?
Yeah, honestly, as well as I've ever seen in my lifetime, especially coming off a run like they had last year in the college football playoff. When you look at this game, this to me is really going to tell us so much about the importance of the quarterback position, right? Because on one side for Miami, you've got Carson Beck, who's a veteran who's been through all these games, played at Georgia in the best conference in college football, and now is coming down here trying to pull the Cam Ward, and he's going to do it with a group of receivers he's getting to know, a bunch of whom are portal in here and going to replace NFL guys that left last year. He's going to do it on the other side of the football with a secondary that's almost been completely rebuilt in the transfer portal. And they're coming into this game, never having played meaningful snaps together in a college football game. Look on the other side for Notre Dame. Yeah, they've got a freshman quarterback or a redshirt freshman quarterback who's never started a game of college football. But look around him, and the group is more or less the same group that just made that run through the playoff. The offensive line that started last year with 6 career starts now is a veteran unit with 2 captains on it this season. You look at your running back room, you've got the best running back in the sport in Jeremiah Love and a group that's incredibly deep through their recruiting efforts. And then defensively, you lost some key pieces. Xavier Watts, who was a consensus All-American, Jack Kaiser, who was a 6th year and a leader in that group, but Drake Bowen's a captain for you on defense now. Your 2 young cornerbacks in Christian Gray and Leonard Moore, one of whom has been on everyone's preseason All-America list, are 2 of the best in the country. And defensively, just across the board, you had so many guys pressed into duty last year that ended up playing in those big games against Indiana, against Penn State, against Georgia, against Ohio State. And so, your quarterback's inexperienced, but everyone else has that big game experience. And so this team walking down to Hard Rock is built in a way with quality depth that we haven't seen in my lifetime at Notre Dame. So the expectations are understandably very high for Marcus Freeman and company this year.
Man, going on the other side of it, I don't want to, overshadow or overlook your game and the prep that you're doing right now. I have to ask you about Nebraska and Matt Rule, man, and how he just can't shake it off with the ability to make Nebraska a good team. You see what I'm saying over here, Mike? But seriously, he's got Dylan Raiola. He's got a 5-star. He's got the optics that Nebraska's trying to get to. Mike, how do you view Nebraska's I've seen my school somewhat get out of that purgatory of football land. Miami has, in a sense. Florida State has done some good things. But this school of the 90s that was really good, what are you getting from them? They do make a lot of noise in the Midwest.
They do, and for Matt Rule, we look historically, year threes have been very good to him, right? Whether it was at Temple, whether it was at Baylor, and now going into year 3 here. That's usually been the year, and when we talked to him yesterday, we kind of asked him, like, hey, what goes into that? And he pointed out, like, to your point, Nebraska is one of the programs that's been stuck in the doldrums a little bit. Really, post Bo Pelini, when you had 9 wins every year, and that wasn't really good enough for Cornhusker fans because of the standard around there. It's been a little bit of a rougher go. And so he said most of these jobs were teardowns. We had to come in here and completely overhaul how they did things, how we did things from a roster standpoint, from an infrastructure standpoint, on and on down the list. And going into year 3, he usually feels like that's when you start to see that stuff seep in. And the example he gave me, and the reason I think there could be some hope for Nebraska this year is, Ramon, you know this, there's nothing better than when a locker room and the players take ownership over their team. And he said, Dylan Raiola, he's holding players-only meetings that even I don't know about at this point. That's how seriously he's taking this process of going out and making this his team. And so I think all of that stuff for them, Dana Holgorsen came over last year. They've got continuity on offense. Matt Rule said there's not many people that did what he did last year, which is bring someone in as an outsider in Dana Holgorsen and make him the primary play caller down the stretch of the season. So they got a little bit of that working relationship under their belt last year. They got a whole offseason to continue to work with that. And so I think that's a combination of, hey, finally having Philip Portolero, all the personnel that he thinks he wants in there now, and a quarterback who seems to have really taken ownership over this is his team. Not just, hey, I'm the 5-star, I'm coming in here with all this ability and promise, but I'm actually going to put the leadership skills to work that will bring my teammates with me on that journey.
Mike, speaking of on being on journeys, man, it's got to be a little bit of who's afraid of little old me when you talk about what's going on with Brian Kelly and LSU. He left your school.
That was a deep cut. That was pretty good.
I'm saying he left your school, Mike. I hear my boy hype in the background. Hell yeah, I'm hitting right now, Mike. But seriously,
look what you made Ramon do.
Look what you made me do, man. But I'm trying to bring a little daylight right now to Brian Kelly as we speak about what he's done. What can you tell us about him, considering your school did go to a national championship post him, and here he is at LSU, supposedly in one of the hotbeds of recruiting, and he can't get over the hump.
Well, let me tell you, Ramon, I'm giving this answer, wiping the tears away from my eye. I'm so proud of you, man. This is just amazing.
We go back.
But we go. We know places, me and Ramon. I would say this for Brian Kelly going into this year, and it was kind of interesting, right? Again, as someone, I played 3 years for Brian Kelly over a decade ago now. And watching that Any Given Saturday show and going back inside and getting to see a little bit in that LSU program as they currently sit and the way Brian approaches that, it's consistent. And that's the one thing I think he's always been, is a consistent presence as the CEO of your ball club. He is going to let you know exactly what's expected of you, where and when you're supposed to be where. And for a football player, that's all you can really ask, right, is to know exactly what's expected of me at any given time and the standard that we operate things with. The question for Brian is going to be, can they get the defense up to par? That's been the project for the last couple of years, and they brought in a bunch of talent on that side of the ball. We're still holding our Harold Perkins stock through bloody hands at this point. And then offensively, you've got one of the best quarterbacks in college football, I think, in Garrett Nussmeier. The problem is you just basically graduated an entire NFL offensive line and couldn't run the ball much last year. So he's got to be able to get back to the things that made him great at Notre Dame. There's different tools and resources available to you everywhere. And you knew at LSU, hey, part of this is going to be air it out, use the great wide receiver talent that's always coming through there. But last year you had a really good offensive line and still couldn't get the ground game consistent enough to support that. And so your quarterback ends up pressing in some moments. There are some head-scratching plays and mistakes that he ends up making. Can you supplement what you already do so well now with that ground game and really commit to it in a way that, Brian Kelly has seen work. He's seen it bear fruit during his time at Notre Dame with some of the great rushing attacks and offensive lines he had there. So he knows it when he sees it. He knows what it looks like. They just have to be able to put it into practice more often.
Mike Golick Jr., our guest, co-host of Golick and Golick on the FanDuel Sports Network. Weekdays there, TNT college football analyst as well. Mike, we are enjoying getting the Sam Pendleton experience of the Tennessee offensive line and the experience that he's going to bring to a Tennessee offensive line that's also replacing a lot this year. What did you know about Sam at Notre Dame? What kind of player and person is Tennessee getting in him as he likely gets the start at center on Saturday when Tennessee takes on Syracuse and Atlanta?
Yeah, I love that. I remember I was super fired up when I saw the news there because, he's a guy I would have loved to keep. Like, of the players that Notre Dame lost, Sam was quietly, for me, the one that I was most bummed about because, man, in the time you saw him on the field last year, I just thought you saw so many things that he was naturally well that will translate well to center, right? Like, really good balance. Really good coming off the football and creating movement along the lines of scrimmage. I thought he was rock solid, balanced, and dependable, which is all the stuff that you want out of your center, especially in an offense like the one that Josh Heupel and company are running up there that puts a lot of onus on them because everything's so spread out because it's you in a much bigger phone booth if you're the offensive line. So I think he fits really well in that scheme in that regard. And, he comes from a place where he understands the standard that they have. Tennessee is one of those programs that's been defined by their offensive line for a while now. We talk about them every year. I get to vote in the Joe Moore Award, and they're always a team that's in the mix because of how they go out there and scrap and fight and how physical they are, even in an offense that gets talked about a lot more as, being the spreads, fast, bomb it down the field offense that's really defined by what you see in the run game. And so he's going to come in understanding that standard already, having been coached really well at Notre Dame. So you guys are getting a really good one.
Mike, where is there chaos potential in week one with all these big games? Is there an upset potential you are eyeing either for Tennessee, for Florida State, Alabama? Is it Clemson? Is it Ohio State, Texas? Like, where do you think this weekend could get crazy? Because something that we don't expect is always going to happen in week one of the college football season.
Yeah, with Texas and Ohio State or Clemson and LSU, Notre Dame, Miami, there'll be technical upsets maybe in those. But we're talking about top 10 teams across the board. Right. And I saw my guy Stanford Steve last night. Like he's saying, hey, most all these teams are probably going to have a chance to still make the college football playoff when it's all said and done because of how the sport kind of works now. So I don't worry about them too much. I mean, you look down the rest of the schedule, Nevada at Penn State. The Alabama-Florida State one is interesting. I don't think Florida State yet has the horses to do that coming off last year. Now, Gus Malzahn in the SEC, or going against the SEC, I should say, a conference that he knows incredibly well, with a quarterback in Thomas Castellanos who's not afraid in week one where things are going to be different. And you've got some different guys in spots, Ty Simpson taking over at Alabama. There's enough newness there, but I just think this is one of those spots, and someone said it the other day, where Alabama may be quietly becoming a little underrated now after everything that we've seen over the years, just because, hey, there's still a depth of incredible talent. Kalen DeBoer might not be Nick Saban, but man, he's still a darn good coach that just happened to fall a game short of the standard of a place that's pretty otherworldly in terms of expectation in Alabama. So I still expect them to take care of business. Honestly, looking across the board, that and I don't know if it's an upset or not, but I think like everyone else, I'm just sort of fascinated for what Monday night's going to be. TCU once again draws one of the more outside interesty teams in the sport. They had Colorado 2 years ago and kind of welcomed them to the scene in a way that springboarded a conversation that never stopped. And now Bill Belichick's North Carolina going to be hosting them on Monday night in a standalone game. And you guys know this, man, that primetime effect is real and it is spectacular. And so we're going to make a lot of judgments about both programs right off that game because the majority of the country probably won't watch a lot of other TCU or North Carolina games. And so this one going to go a long way in setting the narrative in a way that I find fascinating.
Mike, just to get a little bit of national coverage. So we're joined by Mike Golick Jr. this morning, man. I saw you tweet out a little bit last fall, man, about Diego Pavia, man, and Pavia Mania. How do you view this for guys in his position, man, that have to follow up a massive year that they had, man? How do you contain it at a place like Vanderbilt that has this restriction somewhat as far as enrollment because of the academic side of it? What do you see for them and what they mean in the SEC this second time around?
Yeah, I think with anyone else, you'd be worried about hey, an offseason of being a celebrity like that. Now that the way Diego Pavia is, right, he's become one of the most well-known names around the sport for being the giant slayer, for bringing the goalpost down, all that stuff. We got to talk to him the other day, and Clark Lee separately. What a fascinating dichotomy of personalities. I have never talked to anyone like Diego Pavia, who is just, there's no governor on the way his mind works. It is fully, you are going to get unfiltered, uncut Diego Pavia at all times. And I think that sincerity is a huge part of why this has worked and why his teammates believe in him. Him and Jerry Kill came over from what they were doing out west, and really seem to instill a sense of confidence in this team. And you combine that with the love that Clark Lee has for a program that he played for, that he bled for, that he wants to see the resurgence of. Like, we talked about that Any Given Saturday documentary with him, and he's like, I apologized to my team because it was too much of me in there. Like, everyone understands this is about this is about the team. They've got, between Diego and their tight end, great players on that team to supplement it. I think Clark's defense is structurally and schematically one of the better ones in college football, and not in terms of the talent on paper always, but in the edge that they're going to have there. So I think they have a really good chance to make this consistent, and that's a school where the infrastructure around the program is getting better. Like, they lit the signal fire, and if they can come out this year and follow that up with another above average season the way that we saw last year, maybe not with all the upsets, but with its continued consistent performance and being a bowl team year after year, Clark's got the right ingredients there, and he had the right player come along at the right time in Diego to instill that confidence and belief in this program.
Mike Golick Jr. has been our guest this morning. Food, football, Taylor Swift, and everything in between. That's what you get on Golick and Golick, FanDuel Sports Network, TNT as well. Mike, always good talking football with you. Appreciate your time.
Appreciate you guys. Have a good one.
You too,
sir.
Mike. Thanks, man.
Mike Golick Jr. with us here this morning. I think that's a good insight on Vandy and on Clark Lee and Diego Pavia, because obviously he would have known Clark as well at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he would have. You're right. I just thought about that. He was, I thought, for a while, to be the guy in waiting until, he took this Vanderbilt job and stuff. Yeah. Clark is a real good coach. We do know that. Assets, man, I guess is what you want to call it now. Recruiting is what he needs to prove his job. It's a lot of really good coaches that's been fired for not having the stuff that they need sometimes.
615-737-1045. Open phone lines for the rest of the show if you want to dive into Titans' initial 53-man roster takes. There was a national broadcaster with a Vols take that you'll hear in the 9 a.m. hour. Plus, we'll talk some Tennessee football and ask what I think is the biggest question of the Tennessee football season coming up at 9:20 this morning. But when we come back, the NFL has raised, or I should say lifted, restrictions on one person that is going to make NFL football more enjoyable, marginally, in 2025. We'll talk about that next.
Listeners sometimes ask me, what makes advanced hair restoration different? Well, allow me to share, along with some details on their once-a-year summer savings event. First off, Advanced Hair stands by the results, and the before and afters are second to none. With Advanced Hair, your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. Secondly, Advanced Hair combines top-rated physicians with modern technology, creating a concierge quality experience that's hard to find elsewhere. And lastly, Advanced Hair's Advanced FUE begins regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. Quick, simple, and easy. Now, if you do have a flexible schedule this summer and you've been waiting for that special savings opportunity, well, it's here. Advanced Hair Summer Savings Event will get you the most hair for your dollars. It's their best offer ever. For details and to schedule your free consultation, take this number down, 629-348-HAIR. One-day treatment, life-changing results. Your new hair is guaranteed to grow. The number is, again, 629-348-HAIR, or visit advancedhair.com.
I want to tell you about my new obsession as football season begins, Daisy French onion dip. It's one of my guilty pleasures during football season. The dips, the chips. Look, you got to have a good dip for your wings as well. For some veggies that sneak in there, look, we're mixing veggies in. We're being healthy, even though football calories count at least like half, right, of normal calories. Well, Daisy has come out with this delicious Daisy French onion dip and a Daisy ranch dip. I'm telling you guys, These are a game changer. They are as delicious as a homemade dip, and they're made with real herbs and spices, plus other ingredients you'd find in your own kitchen. So I suggest you give it a try. Check out Daisy French Onion Dip. You can find it at a grocery store near you. Take it to the tailgate, put it in a nondescript container, impress your friends who think that you've brought a homemade dip, and then nudge them after and say, hey, that's Daisy. Go by and see it at a nearby grocery store. That's Daisy French Onion Dip. You got to check it out. Urbana Willow 104.5 The Zone, wrapping up hour number 3. There was a national broadcaster that I think had some disrespectful things to say about Tennessee football.
You say?
Some aggressive things to say about Tennessee football. A Tennessee football villain has challenged Tennessee. You're going to hear it coming up here in 15 minutes. It has to do with Nico, with the system, with Josh Heupel, with all of it. From a repeat offender of offending Tennessee.
It's giving real beta male mentality is what he's doing to me, man. Just hearing him say that, like, dude, I'll get more into it later, but like you legitimately miss the window of this conversation.
We'll do that coming up in 15 minutes. But, Ramon Foster, the Brady rules are over. The NFL, according to reports of The Athletic's Andrew Marchand, will allow Tom Brady to go to production meetings this year.
I would hope so.
Yeah. Well, he didn't last year.
He didn't last year?
No. So Brady, as a minority owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, had rules in place last year, making it awkward because other crew members had to tell Tom Brady what was happening in production meetings because he, as an owner, was not allowed to go to production meetings for his first season as a Fox broadcaster. He spent most of his season banned from these information gathering sessions, as Andrew Marchand calls them. He can now participate in the same prep work as every other analyst. He is still banned from team practices, so the NFL still has some level of oversight, but production meetings with coaches and players where analysts will meet, and that's very common for national level broadcasters who are parachuting in, becoming experts at a team for a weekend, and then parachuting back out. You have meetings for hours with coaches, with players, that's how you get the insight that you hear. It's most of what you hear on broadcasts is things that you surmise from production meetings. How big of a difference do you think this will make for Tom this year?
Well, with everything everybody said about him in his broadcast, I'm not sure too much more because Tom knows a lot about the game anyway. I'm sure, and I know he has the capabilities of watching tape and watching film. Now, hearing what the coaches are saying and their game plans and stuff like that, that's a little bit different. Only question I have is, do they do the same thing with, Greg Olsen?
No, because he's not an owner.
But he's a former player.
Doesn't matter.
That has an attachment.
That's normal. It's the ownership stake that matters. I mean, Nick Saban's going to other practices for College Game Day, and he still has an office at the Alabama facility.
To be honest with you.
Or a parking spot at Alabama.
From top to bottom, and probably ain't many owners that know the ins and outs of play calling anyway. So the ban on ownership, not that they want to go to those types of things, but I'm not putting a lot of stock in an owner telling the head coach information about an opposing team from a Saturday to a Sunday game plan. That messes up the entirety of it anyway.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
There's
He's an owner. There's rules to it.
Yeah, there's a level of objectivity that former players know they have to have when they take that job.
It's almost as if then, in this case, they've removed the former player tag from him. So don't put him in the Hall of Fame, too.
No, it's not. Well, I just think it's the ownership liability to say if Tom Brady is a part of adding GMs and coaches and he helped hire John Spytek.
This is because of information. I guess
it's information that you can get.
Interview.
Right. That gives you a competitive advantage within your own organization to see how other teams are practicing because he has a current role. Like Greg Olsen, if he was the VP of X, Y, or Z with the Panthers, then maybe this would be the same situation. But he's not employed by the Panthers anymore.
But here's also but there's an allegiance to it. There's always that.
Well, sure,
I look at, so if that's the case, I feel a bigger threat than all of the guys that are on it is Tony Romo. He played for the Dallas Cowboys. If there's anybody that will be ciphering information from a production meeting to ownership, it is Tony Romo to me.
The production meeting isn't what the issue is.
It's the practices.
It's the practices, yeah. Yeah, it's just the practices. The production meetings are now fine.
I just think that's I get it. You want to have a separation of it. You want to be able to, but again, I guess Tom's situation is different because he has the ability to have strong influence. But I still say this is a big old stupid decision, to be quite honest with you.
Well, I think too, if you are trying to leak information to your former team as a former player, you're just going to lose your job.
It's that side of it too.
So there's incentive for you to not give away state secrets because you just won't be able to have that job anymore. And Tony Romo's got 10 million reasons not to go back and spy for the Cowboys and other teams. He's getting paid handsomely to do that job.
I just look at this and say to myself, this is it's just a headline grab to me more than anything. I don't think much of it because the information that most people know and how guys practice, they talk about it at these conferences or the combine anyhow. Let the guy do his job. But if they want to have a separation of ownership, I'm here for it. I'll listen. I'm opposed to it, but I'll accept it.
I don't think it's a big deal. I mean, Tom Brady should be at least allowed in production meetings. I understand it. I mean, I totally get it.
Yeah, that's weird energy to me.
What part of it's weird to you?
That is Tom Brady.
What do you mean?
You have to be able to trust a guy like that, I would expect.
They do. That's why they're letting them do production meetings.
I know, but even like last year having this to be a thing.
So you're saying it's weird they did this last year?
Yes, and now they want to clear it up
Okay.
again. Like,
No, I agree.
That's problematic more than anything.
Tom's biggest challenge is still being conversational yet honest in criticizing quarterbacks. And that's something that Greg Olson does very well. Is there is a shot clock as an analyst. You know this.
Yes, it is.
There is a shot clock where you've got a very short amount of time to get high-level analysis that makes sense to the general public before the next play. That's a tricky thing to learn how to do and make sound conversational and real and relatable to the audience before your play-by-play guy has to take it back and set up the next play. And Tom's problem to me is that he's still not being critical enough when things go wrong. He's not telling me a lot of things I don't already know based on watching the game. And that's the area where he knows what's going wrong.
Yeah.
I think he is a little bit too afraid to criticize other quarterbacks. And that was always my question about how he was going to be able to do that job. Is he's very connected within that community. He's got a lot of friends in very high places. Are you willing to tell those friends or tell America that those friends have messed up?
I'd expect that to change this year because I'll be honest with you. What's up?
Would you go ahead?
Oh, no,
just
no,
when you're done.
I would say this. My first year in doing this job, I was very protective of players. But my mindset was this, though. As a former player, we have a tool that we can use, and that's being able to watch the tape and see it as we've seen it ourselves or had others tell us about it. My thing about me doing this job and also being able to see those players in their faces is if I can go to the tape and back up what I'm saying, then you should be okay with me unless you're willing to explain to me what exactly happened on that play. And I think I would hope in this second time around for Tom, that's his approach to being more critical. If I can call you out on tape, then I think it's okay for guys to be critical. As long as you're not being personal and demeaning guys way over the top and making it about you more than it is about them.
Agreed.
The tape shouldn't lie. Tom should get more comfortable with that. He needs somebody to tell him that.
It's well said. There is a trade that has just happened in the National Football League. The Carolina Panthers have finalized a deal to send wide receiver Adam Thielen back to the Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings get Thielen, a conditional 2026 7th-round pick, and a 2027 5th-round pick. The Panthers get a 2026 5th and a 2027 4th. So not only do the Vikings get Adam Thielen back, they don't lose any draft capital. They just move back in 2 drafts. I don't understand this from the Panthers' perspective, Ramon.
If they're trying to build up right now, yeah.
I don't this makes Bryce Young worse right now. Literally today. Adam Thielen had 615 yards last year in Carolina. He only played 10 games. He's still a productive wide receiver. I get that he's 35 and just had his 35th birthday 5 days ago, but down the stretch last season, Ramon, he had 3 games with 99-plus yards from week 13 on. 8 catches for 99 against Tampa, 9 catches for 102 against Philly, 5 catches for 110 against Tampa again. He was productive down the stretch last year and is a big reason why Bryce Young was able to get back in the lineup and play better. I don't get this from their perspective.
Maybe they feel a whole lot of what they've seen from Teteroa McMillan. Also, Xavier Legette expected to make a bigger jump this year, too. Is young, not a whole lot of experience there, but yeah, maybe they're planning for 4 years from now.
Xavier Legette last year had 49 catches for 497 yards. He played in 16 games and still had less production than Adam Thielen.
I talked to some guys that were at the Carolinas at the game I did this past week, and they are excited about what he did this offseason. Now, can that translate over to the field? And can Bryce Young give him the ball? That's the other part of it. They're very high on Ted McMillan, too.
Apparently, and Ari Myrov, who is an aggregator, he takes a lot of other people's news and things and makes it his own. But he at least put this out there. So somebody else reputable who's actually at practice is saying this, so he's just putting it out there, too. They love Jalen Coker, which is a big reason why they were willing to move on from Thielen. Mm-hmm. We'll see. That's a lot to put on a guy with, again, 1 year of experience, who started 4 games last year, played in 11, and had 478 yards. So it's Jimmy Horn, Jalen Coker, Teteroa McMillan, Xavier Legette. That's a young wide receiver room. I think that is bold by Carolina to move on from Adam Thielen now, who you know is at least going to give you a safety blanket for your young
That
quarterback.
wasn't a cheap trade either. Like, they get their 4th round in 2027.
A 4th is significant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So there you go. Adam Thielen back to Minnesota. Jimmy Horn Jr., Jalen Coker, you're next up.
Jimmy Horn Jr.
Coming up, Joel Klatt of Fox Sports had some things to say about Tennessee football that we'll react to coming up next.
It's Ramon Foster for Medical House Calls. Good people, that is the website too, medicalhousecalls.com. 7 days a week, Monday through Sunday. That's what 7 days is, okay? But their hours are 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So, yes, extended time for you. They do same-day appointments. They are available or next day guaranteed. You can call or text them too. Make it easy. Text them, 615-838-2375. But they can be your primary health care, your urgent care, IV therapy, or if you also need medical weight loss, man. Sometimes you just don't have the time or you don't feel like going into the emergency room or waiting around with a lot of germs. If you're a germaphobe like some folks, I get that. They will come directly to your house. The medical experts have the care that you will need, from sicknesses, infections, injuries, in-home labs, testing, and more. You'll get a evaluation for a flat fee, full exam, treatment plan, and they'll also administer prescriptions if you need them too. If you've been feeling fatigue, persistent illness going on, or just difficulty focusing or being productive, there's an IV therapy for you too. And just the other part of it is, man, if you want something very confidential there in your house, or you got a busy schedule where you can't make it out to the doctor's office where you want to because your job won't let you off, well, this is where Medical House Calls can help you. Again, 7 days a week, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. The website is medicalhousecalls.com, or you can call or text this number, 615-838-2375. Medical House Calls.
It is 9:02. Good morning, live from the 104.5 The Zone studios. I'm Justin Hawkins. The NFL roster cut deadline has come and gone, and teams around the league, including the Tennessee Titans, are down to their initial 53-man rosters. The Titans hold the top spot in the waiver order, and they'll have the first choice to claim any player of their choosing. Waiver claims are due by 11 a.m. Central this morning, and the NFL will process them shortly thereafter. And breaking NFL news this morning, per ESPN's Adam Schefter, first reported the Carolina Panthers and Minnesota Vikings are finalizing a trade for wide receiver Adam Thielen to return to Minnesota, where he signed as an undrafted free agent back in 2014. The trade package: the Vikings get Thielen, a conditional 2026 7th-round pick, and a 2027 5th-round pick. For the Panthers, they'll get a 2026 5th-round pick and a 2027 4th-round pick. Thielen was a two-time Pro Bowler in 2017 and 18 during his time in Minnesota from 2014 to 2022, and he had 6,682 yards receiving in that span. Per reports, Thielen and the Vikings are currently working on a revised contract for the 35-year-old, who's entering his 12th NFL season. For all your foundation repair and waterproofing needs, you got to go to USSTN.com. Breaking news at once on your home for the Titans and Vols. This is 104.5 The Zone.
Hour number 4, 9 a.m. in beautiful Music City. Ramon and Will is fueled by Scooter's Coffee on 104.5 The Zone, in studio and streaming on 104.5 The Zone TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch. It is a crisp 66 degrees in Nashville, Tennessee this morning. That means it is officially, even though for me it's always been officially for you cold enough to go by and try the new fall drinks at Scooter's Coffee. The pumpkin caramelicious coffee together is exquisite, Ramon Foster.
Yes.
Pumpkin and caramel, two
Things
of my
we're here
favorite
for.
flavors. Honestly, my two favorite flavors, that and French vanilla, the big three for me. In coffee together, you got to go by and see them. Rivergate, Smyrna, Brentwood, White House, or Mount Juliet. Reward yourself on a football game week with a cinnamon roll to celebrate the week. Some people have bubbly or champagne. Cinnamon rolls in our household. How we celebrate good things happening. Go by and see them.
See, well, the way you sell that, man, I'm telling you, my drives east are going to be with a stop for a
Every single time I go to Knoxville, I stop at Scooters in Mount Juliet.
Sometimes it's just right. You know
Every
what I'm
time.
saying? Every time.
That's absolutely right. So Joel Klatt is something of a Tennessee villain, isn't he?
At this point, yes.
Fox Sports, man who famously once said the Tennessee fan base doesn't deserve a good coach with the way that they have acted in the past. You can always tell when people like this just embrace the fact that anytime they talk about a team or a program, they know they're going to get responses. They know they're going to get reaction. Well, Joel Klatt is at it again in an interview with Colin Cowherd, talking about how we need to hear Nico's side of the story on the Nico Iamaleava transfer saga, and agreeing with some takes yesterday that we addressed, that the Tennessee offense is bad for development of NFL quarterbacks.
Here's why I would defend Nico a little bit, is because he never really got a chance to tell his side of the story. And, Tennessee ran out basically a propaganda effort and got to tell the story without Nico being involved at all. It was not all about money. It really wasn't. If it was, he wouldn't have gone to UCLA, which is the telltale sign. He wanted the offense to grow with him because, and let me tell you why. So that offense that Josh Heupel runs is it's almost like a glorified high school offense. It's the old Art Briles offense that they ran at Baylor. And the reason that it doesn't develop a quarterback is because everything is a half-field read. So it's wide receiver choice routes on one side of the field, which is why none of those Baylor quarterbacks made it, Colin, in the NFL.
Yeah.
And Nico understood that, and he knew that. And so they wanted the offense to expand and to grow and to develop. And when it didn't do that through spring football, that's when he was like, I don't know if this is the right place for me, or the family, started to think, is this not the right place for me? Now, he never got to tell that story because Tennessee immediately ran out there and made it a money issue and tried to take the virtuous route and say, oh, woe is us. Look at what our quarterback is doing, holding us hostage, which in the very same breath or in the next sentence, Tennessee was turning around and contacting guys that were at other schools and trying to get them to transfer to Tennessee in clear tampering violation.
Joel Klatt on his show this week. Ramon, what's your reaction?
First, don't even mention tampering. Like that the conversation at that point was dead. Don't even mention tampering. And I think can he have a stance in the offense? Yeah, I think you can have a stance in the offense. But it also comes back to Nico when it's his ability to let go of the ball and make that decision to make another play for you. You can see Nico in his highlights, the plays that he's being made to where he's scanning for a guy. And there's a guy open and he's not delivering the football to him. He mentioned this story. One, I'll say this too. You telling this story this late in the year after all the dust has settled, you're just looking for a click at this point, Joel Klatt. Respectfully, I say to you, your intel may be more wrong than it is right also in this situation, because the other part of it is, what if there was a situation that happened in December before the portal? What if there was one that happened in January? And then another one that also happened in April, too, that involves this said guy. How much of this did you get it? Did you decide, you know what, screw it, I want to go at the Vols today because I know I'll get a reaction out of those guys? His stance has no weight to it whatsoever. Again, to me, this is let me drum up something as it pertains to getting some clicks. That's essentially what he has said and done. It's silly more than anything.
Three things at play here, Ramon. First and foremost, Joel Klatt is seeing the content creators around college football and is trying to become the Big Ten shill. That's what Joel Klatt's trying to do. He's trying to become to the Big Ten what Danny Cannell is to the ACC. And gets a lot of reaction. What other people are to their respective. He's trying to become the face of Big Ten talk and say, well, don't forget about the Big Ten. Nico's going to be playing when all of you are asleep. Remember, that's first and foremost what he's doing for his television partners over at Fox. Secondly, Nico knew the offense he signed up for.
I was going to say after you were done.
There was never any, if the offense was the concern about making it to the NFL, buddy, don't take the $8 million NIL deal. So Tennessee gave you 8 million reasons to be all right with that. It screams money grab when you start to then change your opinion on an offense that you signed up to play for. Third thing about this is, for Nico Iamaleava, you can have concerns about the type of offense. You can make asks. The second you no-show NIL commitments that reportedly he wasn't doing, production meetings that he wasn't showing up for, you got a contract of things you signed up to do too, buddy. And regardless of your feelings about the offense or how much you're getting paid, you don't get to no-show and hold in college football and expect to be treated the way pros are in the NFL. Those guys earned the right and earned the ability to negotiate with the leverage that you don't have. So yeah, I was on record when this all happened. Nico had the right to ask for more money. He had no right to skip practice and quit on his teammates. That's where this thing gets lost. I don't care why he skipped practice. It's the fact that he skipped practice and just quit, to where Josh Heupel in Tennessee said, all right, well then you're past the point of no return. We can't set the precedent that this is something that can happen. Mm-hmm. And again, I was on the record too, like, just pay him. Tennessee, just do it. I still think that would have been the best case for being ready for 2025 for Tennessee to be the best version of themselves this year. But the second that got past the point of no return, to where when his name is announced in the stadium, fans are going to boo him, you got to move on. And it quickly got to that point where it's like, there's irreparable damage that's been done within the locker room, with the staff, and with the fan base. There's no coming back anymore. But that doesn't fit Big Ten shill Joel Klatt's narrative.
Other part of this is, too, for me, like, there's only so much you can do for a guy that hadn't been in live reps. Like, the other part for me is the patience part of like having it be growth. If you're a quarterback of any said team, you have a lot of say-so and input. You have the ability to influence coaches. Hey, I'd much rather do this. We don't get that growth. We don't get that influence because he only served 1 year. Now, again, if 85% of the money was paid out to Nico at that point, and he felt like we need something to keep us safe, at least give us some insurance that you are for us and my camp is for you too. Then I'm with you. Well, I get that part of it. But what in year one as a full-time starter did you do to suffice saying, yes, I'm your guy other than being the starter, right? If we look at, if we be fully transparent on what last year was for the Vols, it was, and I would say this if Arch Manning was a part of that squad, it was the running game and it was defense. The quarterback was third on that totem pole to me. If we're being completely honest, as a fan of that team, it was the running game and Dylan Sampson, and it was the defense. Nico played third. And my point in all of this is Nico and Joel Klatt. Well, Joel Klatt doesn't have the stance, the grounds to say this if you didn't see growth in year two. It's the same thing we're discussing when it comes down to Cam Ward and the Tennessee Titans. You're not asking him to just be bombs over Baghdad throwing the football down the field. No, you take what you're given, you execute the plays, and then you grow. That's one thing I will say the transfer portal has ruined. And also I would say this, too, for these transfer quarterbacks that have been one and dones and go first round in the NFL, too, is ruined the development and growth of an offense under the same coordinators or team. That's what we don't see from Nico. I wish him nothing but the best things at UCLA and LA, man. Legitimately, I do, because I do think he has a whole lot of talent. I do think the Vols would be a whole lot better if they had him on this squad. I do think they go from being ranked 23rd to about 15 to 12 because of him. Now, with that being said, he was third on the list when it comes down to why they made it to the college football playoffs last year. And that's just facts.
Yep, I agree. I still think that Nico Iamaleava at Tennessee was going to be a top 10 quarterback in college football this year. With him taking a step forward, having a better offensive line, learning that offense. But make no mistake, he was not a top 10 college football quarterback last year. The film shows otherwise, that he was missing open throws and panicking when his first read wasn't there a lot. He wasn't asked to do a ton last year, but that's because Josh Heupel understood what that offense needed. 12 personnel, slower tempo, build it around Dylan Sampson, and when in doubt, play conservatively and trust your defense to win games for you. And they did it 10 times. It worked. 615-737-1045. There are some people that we as Vols fans have to just tune out when they say the words Tennessee. Joel Klatt's one of them.
He's one.
I have a lot of respect for Joel. I think he's a good analyst. I think he does a great job with Gus Johnson. I really like that booth. He's got a weird thing with Tennessee. I don't know if it's the Schiano Sunday stuff and him sticking up for Greg Schiano and all that happened. It kind of started it. He kind of went after it. I don't like analysts that just shake their fingers and just talk down to entire fan bases as a whole.
Yeah.
And I think he does that a little bit too often. I've met Joel. I got the chance to say hey to him at the NFL draft when it was here, and he was with Charles Davis at NFL Network. Couldn't have been a nicer guy. I think his head and heart's in the right place. He's got a weird thing with Tennessee. I'm good, Joel. You don't have to dive into our stuff. We're all right. You do a good job. Just stay in the Big Ten lane.
The other part of it is, like, as a reporter, he has the ability to go get that sit down. Why are you on Cowherd saying it now when you have a name that we know? We know Joel Klatt. I know him. I don't know what his face looked like, but I know his name. You have the ability to waltz to L.A., catch a Southwest flight out there, and go have that sit down. I'm sure Papa Iamaleava, Big Nick, would have us sit down with him to get this story out. There's no attachment to Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's coming back after them for money. He can go get that story, and he can allude to what happened from their perspective.
It's the funny thing is he's criticizing Tennessee for only telling one side of the story, and then he is also only telling one side of the story.
Journalism. Small J. No, I won't disrespect him like that.
I hate wasting time on Nico still on August 27th because there's a real game to talk about, which we're going to do next. But I thought that was worth at least diving into a little bit because it's nonsense.
He can go do that.
Yeah. Coming up, I've got a really big question about Tennessee football this year. I think, Ramon, it is the question that defines the season for Vols football in 2025. We'll talk about it next.
It's Ramon Foster for the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Good people, their website is simple. If you have this, you know this, and you'll remember this. But painisbad.com. That's where you need to go, man. And I'm here to tell you that Dr. Ashley, who's there, one of the best around doing it, man, she knows how an athlete body is, and she knows that the trauma that your body and life has put you through, or you put your body through, from active athletes needing to help to stay on the field, or older guys now that are off the field but can still feel those playing days. She has extensive knowledge and top-of-the-line equipment to help you get better. And ladies, also for you, from your hips and your back to nerve damage, man, or just carrying the family, the day-to-day tasks that you have. I mean, she's here to help be an advocate for you to get you better, stronger, and healthier, too. The Wellness Institute is one of the few places that have a female doctor that can understand your pain, what you're going through. You can have a pain-free life and enjoy the things that you used to do. Be happy with your life. No more back pain, neck pain, tingling in your arms and legs. You know what I mean? As soon as I say that, you can go get help for that. That sciatic nerve pain in your leg, or the weakness or sleepless nights that you have from just being uncomfortable, the disc bulges, herniations, and spinal stenosis. This is the place that will help you get better with no surgery, man. And their goal is to get you out and get you better, not to have you consistently coming back, man. So start a pain-free life, and it is possible by calling the Wellness Institute in Nashville at 615-246-5009 or go to painisbad.com.
Wednesday morning continues at Ramon and Will. We are fueled by Scooter's Coffee. If you missed Rhett Bryan earlier this morning breaking down the Titans' initial 53-man roster, you can get that wherever you download podcasts, Apple and Spotify, where we recommend you go. Or if you missed Mike Golick Jr. an hour ago, he was terrific as always, previewing college football week 1. Wherever you download podcasts, you get every interview as its own standalone episode. You get every hour of the show as their own standalone episodes as well. So if you are watching or listening to the show because the Vol Network's broadcast analyst is on this show, you want Vols Talk, well, you can curate and only get Vols Talk if you want it there. Or if you watch us because you want to listen to Titans Radio's flagship station, you can get all Titans Talk in the podcast feed if you want it there as well. Ramon, I've got a big question about Tennessee football this year.
Gotcha. What do you got for us, Will Lee?
Can Josh Heupel make Tennessee football fun again this year? I think in the court of public opinion, for a fan base that is going to have to stomach a down year, in my opinion, versus what last year was, fairly or unfairly, the explosiveness, the fun, the deep passing game, the tempo, I think matters for Tennessee. Because I feel like this fan base is going to need some kind of snack to hold them over before dinner's served.
I know what you mean.
2026 feels like the year where things will come back together and Tennessee can hopefully be a playoff contender again. So as we wait for that, I think it's important for this fan base to still feel like Josh Heupel's got his fastball, which is the explosiveness of the offseason or of the offense returning. What do you think about that?
That was the main conversation I feel like we had when Heupel got hired. How can you capture us to make us believe that the universe is in a different spot right now? How can you make us believe that this offense will work in the SEC? How can you put guys in the NFL? How can you make the brand, right? And it was because of the offense. It was the excitement of it. And it's been backed up numerous times, I feel like, because of the defense and the other things that they've done as a team. Recruiting has helped, too. And I was listening to your same point, though, Will, Mike Keefe and Brent Hubbs last night, too, on the Big Orange Rewind. And Hubbs was of the mindset that don't be shocked that this team does do more. Considering the caliber of recruits that he's brought in, should make this a higher floor for what I think a lot of our projection of them is in 2025. So if we do believe that, and it's going to have to be a youthful movement too, Will, because there's guys that hadn't played a whole lot, and there's guys that are high prospects that he's going to allow to play this year. So I'm with you having that, and with this offense, you got to be able to, at some point, take the top off or have a quarterback that knows how to make a decision quickly, if it's with his legs rolling out or if it's with him having the ability to say, you know what, Joey, respectfully, like I don't know if coaches have this conversation with quarterbacks, but especially in college, I'm not sure what his outlook is as a pro, but my brother, use your legs. Become a star here. Become somebody that we can believe in. I felt like the 2022 season in which Hendon turned into we don't know what his running style is, but he extended plays and kept the chains moving and kept the offense out there to keep that excitement going. Right. I think to your point, yes, 1,000%, that is something that you should be looking forward to from Josh Heupel in 2025, considering the departure of your starting quarterback at the time.
Josh Heupel last season adjusted this offense to his skill set that he had. I think Josh Heupel saw some of Nico's struggles in preseason and understood this quarterback is at his best with two tight ends on the field, bolstered by a run game that keeps us out of third and long. And I don't have the wide receivers and explosiveness and separation there to be 2022 again. Let's build around the defense. Let's be a bit more boring, but better. Ramon, I don't know if Tennessee defensively is good enough to be that again this year. I also don't think Tennessee is good enough on the ground to be that this year. We can't just assume that Star Thomas, Deshaun Bishop, who Austin Price told us yesterday is running back 1A, and Peyton Lewis, the ground game is going to take a step back. I just think that's something we have to accept. So what takes a step forward to counteract that? If Tennessee wants to take a step forward on offense as a unit, I think it's the deep passing game. And Jordan Moore put this out on Twitter at Jordan Moore _21 yesterday. Joey Aguilar on throws of 20-plus yards downfield in 23 and 24 combined, Ramon. 36% completion, 1,984 yards, 20 touchdowns, 6 picks. Again, that's throws of 20-plus yards the last 2 seasons combined at Appalachian State. Or excuse me, sorry. Yeah, no, that's right. Sorry. Joe Milton and Nico combined on throws the last 2 seasons of 20-plus yards downfield, 31% completion. 1,383 yards, so 600 less yards, 18 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Yeah. Joey Aguilar in 2024 had 28 completions of 20-plus yards. Joe Milton and Nico combined for 34 in their 2 seasons together. If Josh Heupel is looking at this quarterback, these receivers, and this offense, I think he's going to see an offense that can look schematically a bit more like 2022 again. And I think that's going to make Tennessee football on offense a little bit more fun again. That's not to say Joey's not going to throw the ball to the other team a little bit and make us want to pull our hair out sometimes. But I think the good moments are going to be fun again. And the identity of this team might change back to something more of what we have seen in the past from Josh Heupel. At least I think that's their plan A, Ramon.
Yeah, I would ride with you there. My biggest take, I guess, would be this, though, too, Will, as I give my quick answer, too. How can he do it again with a transfer quarterback? I know we're very similar in what we're asking, but can he do it again with a transfer quarterback? If Joel Klatt is saying it's a gimmicky offense, show us. Do it again. Make this guy have at least a team turn heads. If Stetson Bennett can get on a roster at some point in time, you mean to tell me that the arm talent of a quarterback in this offense, where it's spread out, where it is available for you to make a read and then make a quicker decision after the fact, can you do that again, Josh Heupel? And we're not even just talking about this. Is maybe I thought last year was probably his best adjustment as a head coach. I will say that because I thought he slowed the offense down enough. Like you said, he went 12 personnel. He used his bigs up front as a strength. It wasn't relying upon just the air raid, because it screws the defense, to be quite honest with you. If you're first and 10 and then next to second and 8 and then you try to air it out and then the defense has to come out. That's where I'm asking, can he do that again with a transfer quarterback in a shorter window? That's why I'm thinking to myself, what's the best weapon that he can have? He's an athlete. If you are in a position where you've already got the defense spread out, you either have the threat of running the ball, which Hendon had, right?
I think Joey has it too.
Or you run it, right? You play games with the defense, but here's also where I saw on his Appalachian State tape, Joey Aguilar, that's where when he's running and the ball floats up and goes into the defender's hand, he can't have that be the case. Throw it to where your guys can get it in that short amount of time. He came in, won the job, can he do it again with a transfer quarterback? Can you highlight his attributes of being a passer?
615-737-1045. Of course, Ramon Foster on the call with Voice of the Vols, Mike Keith, who joins us tomorrow at 8:20 for his first weekly football season visit on the show. What intrigues you about this matchup? Where do you think Tennessee can exploit some weaknesses in Syracuse and find success on Saturday?
I'm actually siding more with the defensive line. The Vols. They got 5 new starters. They had, 5 new starters. And only one was for certain to start, and that's the center, Austin Collins, the transfer out of Louisville. He was the only one that was promised anything. You got 5 new guys on that offensive line, man, and I'm looking at a team that has a whole lot of cohesion and experience on that defensive front. Bryson Eason, Ben one. Let's start with him.
Jackson Moy, I think is going to play a huge role.
Another one of those guys. And I say this they went out and got, per PFF, the worst rated left guard in the ACC from Florida State last year. Make them look like it, Bryson Eason, Ethan Utley, Jackson Moy. Make them look like it when you guys go at them. I do view that situation as an advantage for the Vols on this one. My area of concern is I do think they have some talent at wide receiver.
I do too.
And another small one that we hadn't talked about, but I looked at it in their Fran Brown's conversation that he had. He was the defensive back coach at Georgia for a couple of years. Heupel was there.
He'll know the offense.
He will know the offense and how to slow the offense down. That's why I said the other day, how does Heupel get to the point to where he can take that bubble off the back of defenses and make them come down into the box where it's not just too high. They're playing cover 4 from time to time.
Sure.
That's where I want to see it. You look at Jonte Cook being one of those guys. Darrell Gill Jr. is another player that they have, and also Justice Ross Simmons is a returning player for them. They got a whole lot of hype around them. But Jonte Cook can be problematic. Coming from Texas and got in trouble this past offseason. It's funny also looking at the articles of Jonte Cook, who's like, well, he was caught with less than 2 ounces of weed, which wouldn't have been a problem in New York. It's funny how it's just true, but I mean, that boy had over an ounce. He getting to it. Just saying.
So Syracuse on defense has to replace last year's leading tackler Justin Barron. Top pass rusher Fadil Diggs is also gone. He transferred to A&M. Third-team All-ACC corner Marlo Wass is gone, as well as Clarence Lewis, who's now at Notre Dame. They have an 8th-year veteran, by the way, at edge rusher. David Reese.
Yeah.
6.5 sacks in 2 seasons with Cal. They bring in a couple of transfers from Marshall and BC, a defensive line, and Eric Kane wrote a great first-glance piece at VolQuest.com that I'm referencing in all of this. But 4-2-5 defense.
Yep.
Defense that really struggled to stop the run last year. Really struggled.
Fran Brown sought out advice from NFL coaches and teams around the league on how to improve that.
They gave up 150 yards per game, 5.02 yards per carry on the ground. If they are even close to that bad, I don't see Tennessee having a lot of trouble with Syracuse on Saturday.
Or they overcompensate. This is where you get personal fouls, right?
I think that is the type of team that Tennessee struggles with under Josh Heupel, and especially with question marks at quarterback, or we don't know what we're getting with Joey Aguilar, Ramon. It's teams that can take away the run and play one-on-one in the defensive backfield and win those matchups when the chart of should I throw or should I pass tells you to throw. That's the thing. And that's why teams like Georgia and Ohio State, that skill gap has not been made up by Tennessee, is because those top-level teams have DBs that you can say, oh, we'll put our safety one-on-one with your slot. Throw it, see what happens. And Caleb Downs is winning those matchups. And you are able to still stack the box and play 7 versus 6 or 8 versus 7 in the run game and keep 3 guys or 4 guys out on islands that can still cover one-on-one. I don't see Syracuse being able to stop the run enough to stop Tennessee's offense from scoring enough points to win this game.
Yep. And it's also the other part of it, too. They have a defensive end, Kevin Jabidi, who's moved from D end to D tackle. I see them trying to be quick and explosive up the middle, and this is where I'm hoping a young fellow who's going to be a new starter, too, and Jesse Perry, like, you got to move them. This is a set the line of scrimmage type of game for them, man. Like you said, a 4-2-5 defense that they're running, not a whole lot of depth, but a whole lot of transfer. When you talk about going shopping, they went shopping. I kind of want to see how this translates over into a game like setting. But Fran Brown is one of the ultimate motivators, I think, in college football.
It's not a gimme game at all.
No, it's not a gimme game.
I mean, there's a reason why they beat Cam Ward in Miami last year.
Yeah.
And that was up at their place. But I do have one thing I'm going to ask of you.
What's that?
To work into the broadcast, because there's a 17-year-old on the Syracuse defense. Anytime there's a 17-year-old, Ramon, it's a rule in college football. You got to mention it 100 times. I'm kidding, of course. I'm never going to ask you anything to work into the broadcast. Demetrius Samuel Jr. is a true freshman 4-star that is going to start at corner for Syracuse.
And also play some wide receiver.
Really? I actually didn't know that part.
He's needed as a DB, but they're deep at wide receiver. He is a two-way player that they're hoping to do the exact same thing. Like he's of the. You remember Colorado and Syracuse supposed to play a spring game together. There's conversation to be right there. Yes, 100%.
Yeah, no, I'm never going to actually ask you to work anything.
I can't wait to say that.
But I'm jokingly, jokingly saying it's just funny that, again, there's a 17-year-old starter. They bring in Georgia transfer Chris Peel, providing some depth at corner as well. Transfer at linebacker next to Derek McDonald, who's back, who played last season. There's just a lot of question marks in this defense. And Fran Brown's a good coach. I think he's a good defensive coach specifically. I think he's got a good vision of how to rebuild that program, but considering what that program has lost, Ramon, I think Tennessee's getting Syracuse at a good time. Now, they'll say the same about Tennessee, and that's totally fair as well. So on both sides, I think I don't have a great read on how this game goes, because returning statistics and returning players doesn't mean what it used to be.
It don't.
Like when teams are bottom of the ACC giving up 150 yards of the ground game, I know that's where I see Tennessee having the biggest advantage, but it's harder to project how much that matters for this football team because there's just new guys everywhere. Like, that's why they play the games. We don't know what Syracuse is. Well, we don't know what Tennessee is yet. They've got so much news. So Tennessee is such a young team, Ramon. Here's where I fall on this season and the offense being fun again. I would expect some really high moments.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have some great drives. I think Tennessee's best is going to look pretty dang good. I also expect some bad turnovers, some bad penalties, some freshman mistakes. Because when you do what Tennessee has done and shift more towards, hey, we're going to rely on our freshmen and sophomores. We're not going to bring in older veteran guys just for the sake of bringing them in just because they've played. Now, we believe in our talent acquisition. We believe in our IDs of high school talent. It's time for them to go prove it and play. Yeah. You're going to have to live with some more freshman and sophomore inexperienced mistakes. And I hope that those don't pile up too much to where Tennessee gets in a game late against Syracuse where we're white-knuckling this thing in the fourth quarter. Wouldn't surprise me if that happens.
Just to give you a quick rundown of their starters on the offensive line projected according to Syracuse.com. By the way, watch out for Justice Ross Simmons. Told Syracuse.com he expects 1,000 yards this year at wide receiver. But their starters from left to right on the offensive line for them, which is why I like the advantage go to Vols defense. Left tackle, Alabama transfer, Niquil Bertrand. Left guard, Florida State transfer, TJ Ferguson. Center, Louisville transfer, Austin Collins. Right guard, North Carolina transfer, Zach Rice. And then right tackle, South Carolina transfer, Cam Pringle, who I liked coming out of high school too, by the way.
I think if Tennessee can muddy up that game for Steve Angeli and the Syracuse offense and just make his night a living hell, Tennessee be fine.
It's that part. Now, also watching his legs. Got to be disciplined. That's where I'm trusting T-Lander and also Arian.
Yep. That's where Tennessee's been got a little bit under Tim Banks at times. There's those mobile quarterbacks that can escape the pocket after Tennessee sent the house.
Rattler. Yeah. Is culprit one, I think.
Thankfully, since the Spencer Rattler debacle in 2022, Tennessee has upgraded significantly at defensive back. So that's part of it as well. It's a good preview. It's good to preview a game with you. You've got the scouting report on everybody all season.
I'm ready to roll with it, man.
I'm not surprised. There's no surprise in my voice. Trust me. But we're going to have a fun year here.
We are.
We have a really fun year.
Informative.
That's right.
Absolutely.
615-737-1045 is our number. Final NFL headlines, moves that have happened this morning. Maybe by the time we come back, the Titans will have claimed someone on waivers. We'll let you know next.
I love living in Middle Tennessee. We've got great restaurants, entertainment, sports, and one of the nation's top Ford dealers right here in our backyard. Two Rivers Ford. Remember that name. Two Rivers has been a staple in our community since 1983. They're locally owned. They have a non-commissioned sales team, and they sell below MSRP. They've been doing business with integrity for decades. Two Rivers Ford, the South's most trusted Ford dealer.
Good morning, Willow. 104.5 The Zone is fueled by Scooter's Coffee as we wrap up your Wednesday morning. Justin, do we have some midweek motivation from Inky Johnson this morning?
We sure do.
Let's do it.
Shoulder.
Do that coming up in just a few minutes. Waiver claims in by 11 today.
Oh, yeah?
So live at the Buck Rising Show, you will hear the latest in terms of who is joining your Tennessee Titans. There will be how many, Ramon? Give me a number. Let's do this.
You got one already.
How many? Well, that's not waivers.
Oh, no, that's a pickup.
That's just a signing.
Yeah.
How many waiver claims do you think the Tennessee Titans make today?
I should go under. I got 2.
Okay.
All right, 2.
Justin?
I'm going to go like 4 or 5.
I think they add 4 players, and 3 of them are waivers. That's my guess. I think they'll add a veteran somewhere, like Shy Tuttle again.
Yeah. Upgrades I potentially see. The reason I got 2 is too obvious to me, I think. It's probably Oli Udoh and probably Timmy Horn.
I think Oli Udoh's safe, man. I think
Just
John
feel-
Njoku's the one.
I love that they kept the 11,
Yeah.
but 11 makes me nervous.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to have 11 linemen on the active roster by the time they go to Denver.
Yeah, 11 makes me nervous.
I think somebody is going to go there.
Yeah.
Question is who?
Juku's tight end presence, man, is the only thing that gives him safety for me. And I think that's valuable to this offense.
It may be.
And I may be wrong.
I don't think you need that as much this year because you feel better about your tackles.
I just look at Juku being kept over Jalen Duncan, who I think has more talent.
Yeah, I agree.
Is that fair without
But
disrespecting
I
him?
think Njoku is mentals and personality and cultural fit
It go a long way.
is better. No, it does.
It go a long way.
100%.
Yeah, that's where I sit at that. Oli, who I think should stay, but 11, that number throws me for a loop.
Justin Melo started to put out the practice squad process. Again, these things are not done because waivers, those announcements will be made in the next couple of hours. But Justin Melo has put out the Titans intend to put defensive tackle Cam Horsley on their practice squad if he clears waivers. UDFA out of Boston College, who is a terrific run stopper at BC. And Justin Melo has also just said the Titans intend to add running back Jermar Jefferson to their practice squad if he clears waivers.
Okay.
Team high 6.56 yards per carry during the preseason for Jefferson. I think they add a running back, linebacker, edge rusher, and corner today. I think they add 4 players. 3 of them on waivers, my official pick.
Yeah.
I know I said it. I've come down on that number. I thought it would be higher a couple weeks ago, but not anymore.
I just got 2. I'm playing the safe game.
All right.
Would these
playing.
be roster additions?
Why'd you emphasize the roster?
Oh, you haven't heard Buck's show this week, have you?
No.
Ross,
a little bit.
Producer Ross has been doing roster updates, and every time anyone leaves or gets added to the roster, they'll play the Fox NFL theme or the Monday Night Football NFL theme, and he will say, according to my sources, and then just say whatever the update is. It's pretty funny.
The Titans have waived wide receiver Xavier Restrepo.
That's a pretty good Ross. That's
a real good Ross.
Also, can we, I confirmed this over the weekend. 2 things I confirmed over the weekend. It is Xavier Restrepo. There's no X in Xavier Restrepo.
Put a Z in it.
And it is Cam Ward.
Yeah.
It's no longer Cameron Ward. I know we talked about that last week.
That's his mama name.
Well, because originally he was Cameron.
Yeah.
And now they've switched it in terms of Titans to Cam. So Cam Ward, Xavier Restrepo, no X. Even though his nickname is X, it's still Xavier Restrepo.
Make it make sense.
I know.
And my name
I got it wrong for months until I confirmed it over the
Been a
weekend.
cruel
Let me
summer.
go ahead and clear mine up. Ramon, not Raymond. Okay. Ramon, no E, just an N.
And I'm Will, and I'm not angry at you when I disagree with you, like somebody said in the F of the Big Chat.
Yeah, Will, why y'all give my guy this reputation out here? Like, he's just angry man. Stop.
That's right. Inky Johnson, midweek motivation wraps up the show. Coming up tomorrow, voice of the Vols, Mike Keith.
Can't wait.
And Coach Dave McGinnis will join us. That's 6 to 10 tomorrow. Buck Rising Show got you covered. Next, here's Inky.
And so commitment is staying true to what you said you would do long after the mood that you set it in has left. Just staying true to who you are. I read a quote, man, it was so powerful. it said we live in a world that focuses so much on winning, right? Like winning, losing, whatever the outcome may be. It says sometimes, bro, it's not even about winning. Sometimes it's about the ability to finish. Like, just finish. Like, just stay true to what you said you was going to do. All hell break loose on the course, finish. Stay committed. Like, if it don't go the way you thought it was going to go, finish. One of my favorite clips, man, like, I'm sure y'all probably done seen it, like, when that cat was at the track meet running, and he got hurt, and his dad came out there, and he put his arm around his dad, and people was coming out trying to help the kid run, and his dad was like, nah, get back. And his dad hobbled across the finish line with him at the track. Mm-hmm. Like, bro, that's strong. Like, it wasn't about winning at that point. Like, my man was done. He was just finishing. He was just staying committed to the race that he started. That's strong. Most people would have sat down and been like, all right, bro, I'm out here. Yeah. And the world would have been cool with that.